It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I am Glenn Clark. He's Griffin. What's happening here? You guys are supposed to be. Oh, there we go. We start at 10. We start at 10. Carson's here. Look, man. So they're gonna drink their eggnog. I just realized a pint is nothing. Like, it struck me yesterday when we were talking about it. I'm like, I feel like what happened was when we made this bet, I was thinking about the possibility that I was going to lose. Like, I wasn't planning on going 7-1 for the week. I should probably plan on that more often. It works out really well.
It's fine with me. Fine with me.
I wasn't thinking about that, and so I was like, I better come up with a consumable amount. And so I said a pint. And it turns out, like, a pint's really nothing. It's a big glass.
2 pints is this. So Griffin and I have to split this.
It doesn't have Southern Comfort.
No,
okay, all right. I was gonna say,
I thought that too. I was worried because the only brand they had was Southern Comfort.
Not gonna be boozy eggnog. This is not gonna be something you might enjoy. All right, so they're gonna do that. Give it a minute. Can you throw that in the fridge for a little bit?
I was about to say I'm gonna.
You don't need the whole show for a pint of eggnog, as I realize. And we got a crazy day today. So here's the way that today is gonna work. Coming up in a bit, Mike Locksley is going to join us. Pull the curtain back. We had to record with Mike Locksley before he could talk about all the players that are committing, with today being National Signing Day. Today we talk more about the season, about more big picture things. So just be aware, today is not a conversation about National Signing Day or specifically about the players that Maryland is signing on National Signing Day. Later this hour, Diego Fagot, former Navy linebacker legend, man. He almost single-handedly won them the Army game last year. He's going to join us. He also spent some time with the Ravens. He's going to join us. He is going to talk to us about Navy's coaching change because he knows both guys quite well, both Ken Niumatatlolo and their new football coach, Brian Newberry, who I believe is going to join us. It's an awkward spot. I'll tell you more about that. Brian Newberry, I think, is going to join us next week, but also Ken Niumatatlolo wants to come on next week. He wanted to get through the holidays. So maybe not the same day. Maybe we try to do it on different days. We'll try to work that out. Also this morning, because we're not doing a show on Friday, we will be off this Friday. This Monday, we will not have shows. So we moved Bo Smolka to today. We'll talk about the Ravens' preparations for the Falcons. Lamar Jackson not practicing yesterday. I'm just giving it away. I know we're going to do picks while we're drunk tomorrow, but I ain't picking the Ravens minus 7.5 if Lamar Jackson isn't practicing. That's a promise. Not going to happen.
All right, I'll remind you.
Ain't doing it. If he practices, completely different story. But if he ain't practicing, I ain't picking the Ravens minus 7.5. We'll preview the Falcons with Dave Archer, their color analyst and former quarterback. And we will check in with our buddy Drew Forrester, who is at Helping Up Mission today. Yes, today is the day that we are doing the event. I, unfortunately, am not there because I'm here. That's the way that it works. But I was there this morning, was there yesterday, dropping everything off, getting everything prepared for the event, the kind of giveaway event, and everybody coming in and collecting all the great stuff that you all provided for them, the toiletries, the underwear, everything, the women's shelter, blankets. I know there was my friend Megan Grice, my friend from high school, dropped off at my house yesterday. I just got home, and I was like, what is this? A bunch of laundry bags, mesh laundry bags for the women's shelter as well. It's incredible. Thank you to all of you from the bottom of my heart. If you did not get an opportunity to get in, if you forgot about it, whatever it is, these are the items that can always be used. So if you say, hey, I could swing by the studio with more next week, that's fine. I'll get them there. I'm there once a month. That's fine. I will get them to Helping Up Mission. And if you just wanted to swing by Helping Up Mission, if you live in the city, you say, hey, it's easy for me. Any of those items, toiletries, underwear, things like that for men or for women, they can always use those items, always, at all times. So if you just stop by with those, they will be happy to take them from you. Toiletries and underwear, 2 huge needs for the folks at Helping Up Mission. So thank you all so much, and Drew will check in a little bit later on. It is Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Those scenarios are up on Facebook. I'll get them up on Twitter here in a minute. Today's show brought to you by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Use the code TAILGATE, save $100 when you order your Ginsu Kamado Grill. I'm going to need a new binder. I'm just realizing.
I was just about to comment.
That is.
How long does that one last?
What exactly is going on? What happened there? This was a binder that got. I don't know. This is always my second. We had a Ravens binder that we used for a while. And then this was the other binder that I used for personal appearances.
The Ravens binder still, it's like in that.
Can you try to find me the Ravens binder, Carson? Can you work on that? I appreciate it.
Shouldn't be hard. I think it's right on top.
Anyway, the moral of the story being, I need a new binder. As I was saying about the all-new Ginsu Kamado grill, it is the perfect ceramic tailgate or home grill for grilling, baking, searing, and smoking all kinds of food. GinsuGrills.com. Use the code TAILGATE. Save $100. Thank you. Can I assign you to moving the reeds over from one binder to another? Is that get rid of anything?
I think I'm capable.
Like throw away everything that's in here. Sure. We don't need it. These are all the active reeds, and we just got to move them. Thank you. Look at that. That's very kind of you. I don't know if this is helping the folks at the Ginsu Kamado Grill. Hey, Saturday. I did it again. Saturday. Ravens back home. Stop by the Game Day Firehouse, 1202 Ridgely Street, just west of the stadium. See the Ginsu Kamado Grill cooking, taste it, sample it, and register to win your own Ginsu Kamado Grill, as well as $500 worth of grilling meats. Quickly, as far as news from yesterday, obviously no Lamar Jackson on the practice field for the Baltimore Ravens, which doesn't singularly guarantee that he's out. Doesn't guarantee anything. But, your hopes for this week, you would have liked to have seen Lamar Jackson get a full week of practice in. Of course, he could still return today. He could still return tomorrow and would be all good. But you'd have liked to have seen him put in a full week of practice in order to be confident about where he is as far as the opportunity for him to play on Saturday. Admittedly, I bumped into my buddy Bruce Raffle, who used to be with Baltimore Beatdown. We now work out at the same gym, and we talk a lot about the Ravens. And Bruce saw me last night, and he said, "What do you think?" I said, "The moment that I saw the injury report, I just sort of assumed that meant that Lamar Jackson would not be playing. Like, I just thought if this was the week, I would have thought that he would practice all week. But, again, I don't know anything, and if he practices today, he'll probably play on Saturday." The bigger story, I guess, yesterday, I don't know which one's the bigger story, but we'll go with it. The Ravens lose Devin Duvernay at least for the rest of the regular season. Who knows what the severity is beyond that? It seems like it's quite possible that it's more significant than that, and it could be for the rest of the year entirely. They pair that with bringing back Sammy Watkins, so yay. It's a tough thing because what we've seen from Devin Duvernay in recent weeks was definitely not his best football. So it might be easy to say, well, what are you really missing? Okay, but he was, unfortunately, your best threat, at least post Rashad Bateman's injury. It's easy for me to say this is kind of moving deck chairs, right? Like, you bring in Sammy Watkins, it's fine. Truth be told, Sammy Watkins is definitely not even as good as Devin Duvernay was at this point, which is a pretty damning statement about Sammy Watkins and where things have gone for him. But at the same time, I'm also not telling you that it's drastic. I get it. There's a limit to what Devin Duvernay had provided you. He had been helpful as this sort of Swiss Army knife piece a few weeks back. When he was being lined up in different places, he was doing a lot of different things. He is definitely not an outside starting wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think that's possibly what you could have expected him to be. That's not his skill set necessarily. He certainly should have been more capable of being kind of an impact semi-home run hitter over the middle. It's a shame that you weren't getting that from Devin Duvernay. With the exception of Saturday, he had still been an exceptional kick returner. Like, he had still been very helpful in the return game until Saturday when he was not helpful in the return game. It was basically the opposite of that. So the Ravens are going to have to solve that conundrum, and I don't have the foggiest clue. I guess it's just Justice Hill. I guess that's the way they go, is that he takes on those roles the rest of the season. But
What about, Deshaun Jackson returned punts for the
that would
Eagles.
be-
He's 50.
would
He's
be-
50 years
What
old.
if you put
50
him
years
back? I don't know.
They could put Pat Ricard back there. Too.
Sure, they could put Pat Ricard back there. Look, man, I'm trying to be as practical as I can about it. I don't think it hurts. It doesn't hurt like losing Rashad Bateman hurt. Losing Rashad Bateman was killer. This hurts in part because you had already lost Rashad Bateman. Because you really needed Devin Duvernay to be better than he's been, or more impactful. Better's unfair, right? Because it's not all on him, but you needed him to be more impactful than he's been. It's also a reminder of what the Ravens have done at receiver versus what they haven't done at receiver, and that's a whole different conversation for another day. I can't be down on bringing in Sammy Watkins because I can't be down on bringing in anybody. I mean, if they announced today that they were bringing back Derek Mason, I'd probably say, like, all right, give it a shot. The hell? They have nothing. Oh, man, I meant to put Cordell on at some point. Cordell and I got into a little, not even a fight, but Cordell called into the postgame show the other day on 105.7 The Fan, and we were talking about Greg Roman, and he said something like, the offensive players aren't even playing hard for him. And I was like, yeah, Cordell, I'm going to have to push back on that, dude. Like, you can't just say that. The offensive line's playing extraordinarily hard, insanely hard. The running backs are playing really hard. And the other players aren't good. Like, I don't know what you mean. They're not playing hard. They're not good football players. How would we know the difference? What would it look like if we thought that Demarcus Robinson was playing harder? Like, he's just not good. Like, that's I can't just let that fly. I can't just let you put that out there. I'm not trying to, if your bigger point is I don't think Greg Roman should be the coordinator, I hear you. But I get that we sometimes just say things because of that. Like, the offensive players aren't playing hard, which is not remotely true. Like, not even a little bit true. The problem is the players that are good are playing hard, and everybody else isn't a good football player. Like, they're just not. They're not adequate players. So, you want to bring in another player who's inadequate? Sure. That's what you got. It's not dropping the standard all that much. It's a bunch of inadequate football players that they are lining up at the wide receiver position. It's terrifying. It's horrifying what it is they've done. But there's nothing else they can do. They're going to have to figure out a way to run the ball and 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 hope for the best. And it goes back to, a decision like aggressively going for it on 4th and 1 last week when I don't know what kind of football game you thought you were in. I don't know why you thought it was so desperate for you to get 7 points instead of getting 3. You know how this team has to win. If that game is turning into a shootout, you're not winning it. Again, those arguments early on in the year, you're playing the Bills, you want to be aggressive. It doesn't excuse what you did at the end of the game. But I get the idea of aggression when you're playing against a team like the Bills. I understand the concept. We're playing against them. We have to win a shootout. That's completely out the window. You cannot win a shootout. You cannot win a high-scoring game. You have to play for low-scoring games. That's the frustrating part about their decision to go for it. I didn't like the play call either, but it's just, what do you think you're doing here? What do you think this is? You don't have wide receivers. None. The one that you would hope might become one is now gone too. You have nothing at the wide receiver position. Zero. You can't win that way. Absolutely cannot. If you think that you're going to be in a game that's going to become a shootout, I got bad news. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. You don't have the ability to win that way. But Sammy Watkins is back. So
Get the dust off those old Sammy Watkins Ravens jerseys.
Why would any human being have ever had a Sammy Watkins?
Definitely,
I don't know why the Sammy Watkins would have kept a Sammy Watkins Ravens
I can't wait to
jersey.
see him on Saturday.
There's zero chance that there will be somebody at the game with a Sammy
somebody.
Watkins jersey.
I bet I see somebody with a Sammy
Yeah,
Watkins.
if you find one,
What?
I need you to interview that person. I don't think you will find one.
I bet I will.
I don't think you will. If you find one, I need you to do a man-on-the-street interview.
Okay.
I know that was supposed to be Carson's bit. What's going on with that? We doing that?
The stuff, I think it's going to be hopefully getting here today. And then
Okay.
next week I'll be able to go out there. And
Go to the game on Saturday. Try to find somebody wearing a Sammy Watkins jersey, and I want you to dissect all of their life decisions.
Imagine I run into a bunch of people wearing them.
No chance. I want you to find one and say, why? Why ever would you have done this? God. Anyway, that's the deal. All right. By the way, look, I know we don't like the Steelers around here, but horrible with the news this morning about Franco Harris. I mean, just awful. Atrocious. Everybody's talking about Franco Harris this week. He's doing all of these media appearances. They're doing a Football Life about Franco Harris on NFL Network this week. Of course, the big celebration of the Immaculate Reception. I mean, it's atrocious that he passed away, but it seems particularly cruel that it would happen this week. Like, it seems truly awful that it would happen this week. Thoughts to everybody that was, I guess to all the Steelers fans, and then obviously everybody who knew Franco Harris. Just what an awful. God, I don't know why. Like, if it happens 2 weeks from now, then you can at least say, I mean, 72 is young. That's not true. 72 is still too young. It's still too young for someone to pass away. And someone who's been in the public eye as much as Franco Harris has. But Jesus, right on the eve of the anniversary?
It really just rubs you the wrong way. It's like when their big ceremony honoring him at the game this weekend, so much outpouring of love and appreciation for him and everything he's done.
It just really feels cruel that it would happen this week. It's just terrible news this morning about the passing of Franco Harris. No, it's never fun to do that and then transition to something else. I always don't. I don't like doing that. So maybe we just pause for a second. Okay, now we transition. I don't know how to do that. I know I've been a professional for some time.
There's no good way to do it.
But there's just it's no one has ever come up with an appropriate way to transition. Like sometimes you would just take commercial breaks. Maybe we just do that. But I don't know. It also feels awkward. Imagine being the first sponsor right after we're talking about someone who passed away. Hey, coming up this Saturday, you're gonna it just feels awkward. There's no way of getting around it. All right. Today's show is also brought to you by the Baltimore County Police Department. They still need you to stop by the area precincts this week with unwrapped toys, with non-perishable food items to support them through the end of the week. They are going to be helping out those in the community who need it the most. The Baltimore County Police Department. If you're thinking about a career change, joinbaltimorecountypd.com is the website. Again, joinbaltimorecountypd.com. Very competitive salaries, $10,000 signing bonus. As I mentioned, had to do this yesterday because of his schedule today with National Signing Day, but the opportunity to catch up with Maryland football coach Mike Locksley here on GCR. Well, it is always a pleasure for us to welcome back to the program the head coach of the University of Maryland football program. He is Coach Mike Locksley, and he's getting ready for the Duke's Mayo Bowl next Friday. Coach, it's Glenn. It's good to catch up with you as always. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem. How you doing, Glenn?
I'm all right, man. Okay, take me through this. When they come to you and say, hey, Coach, you're in for doing the Mayo Bath, right? Is there any part of you that's like, do I have a choice? Is there a way out of this?
Yeah, I can tell you that I don't mind mayo on my sandwich, but I saw a video of what it looks like and was not very appealing. Yeah. But I'll be the first to tell you I'm a team first guy and really excited about being able to take part in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. So this was the one that I really wanted us to go to when we started looking at some of the choices we had. And if it's part of the process of winning, I'm all for it.
Right. That is the point of this, is that when you get there, you'll be able to enjoy the Duke's Mayo Bath because you will have won a bowl game for a second consecutive year.
Exactly.
That's the part that matters. When you say you're a mayo guy on sandwiches, I'm not a mayo fan, at all. It's just not my thing. I'm not, I do it, but I think that they can be better condiments. What is your go-to, if make a ham sandwich, are you putting mayonnaise on it? Are you a regular mayonnaise guy?
I am. I'm a mayo guy on my burgers. I'm a mayo guy on my sandwiches. Not an extra mayo guy. And, for some of the old school people, it's like that old movie, Undercover Brother.
All right, yes. Yes. You got. Yeah. Do you carry hot sauce with you at all times?
I don't keep the hot sauce with me, but I do like spicy. So I'm always trying to figure out a way to spice it up, but I don't carry hot sauce with me.
That's my point about man. I just feel like you could go with like a nice aioli, and I know it's mayo based, so technically it is mayo, but like it's a little bit better than a traditional mayonnaise typically.
And I agree with that. I just don't do dry sandwiches. Like that's hard for me to just. A dry sandwich is like scratching a chalkboard for me.
Okay, give me your. We could just do this. By the way, I know we're going to talk football, but we can just talk sandwiches, and I'd be on board with that. Are you a BLT man?
Oh, 100%. I even had the fried egg on it. Like I call it the belt sandwich because I do the fried egg on it.
I don't think I've ever done fried egg on a BLT. You might be taking me to a new place, Coach.
I don't know if you noticed. I mean, I am physically challenged to these types of conversations. So.
You're saying this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah, we're in my wheelhouse right here, Glenn.
Area of expertise for this.
But New Year's is coming, so I'm going to start a New Year's resolution, and then it won't be in my wheelhouse. So let's go. We'll enjoy it while we can.
Hey, man, as long as you keep winning, I want you to be healthy, Coach. I want to make that abundant. I support you being healthy in any capacity. It was I had to go through something like this. I was like 250 a few years back, and had to get my life a little bit in order. So I 100% support health at all turns. I think that's a wonderful thing. Coach, I know that there's probably take me through this for you as a coach. When you get to a point like this where you've made progress, you improved upon where you guys were a year ago. You're in a higher profile bowl game. It's clear that things are going in the right direction, but yet you know there were opportunities for it to be even better than it was this season, and you were so close in those Ohio State Purdue games. How do you reflect on the totality of all of that?
Yeah, I think the big piece is focusing on the trajectory going in the right direction, and then taking those losses and making them lessons for us. I mean, when you look at the Purdue game and, the blocked extra point, they, regardless of whether they're onside or offsides, we didn't finish the play on the wing. We had 3 opportunities inside the 50 where we came away with no points. Like, those are the things we can control. And I've always been really solution-based when it comes to solving things, and not a guy that just focuses on the problem. And so, for us, we've got to figure out how to finish games like those close games we've had. I mean, we've shrunk the margins of defeat versus some of the top teams in our league, but now find out and figure a way how to win those games. And that's a tough step to take, but it's one that I think our players and our program are ready to take.
Mike Locksley is with us here on GCR. Coach, it feels like such a dumb guy question, right? But like, what is it? Can you put your finger on what is the biggest difference? Because to your point, outside of 1 or 2, obviously I know the Wisconsin game didn't go the way you wanted it, but all these other games, you're right there. Can you put your finger on what the biggest difference is for this program in the next couple of years to finishing those games and winning them?
Well, I think what you saw, Glenn, and we point to the 2 we didn't finish, but think back to the Indiana game where we did finish.
Sure.
Think back to the SMU game where we were in a dogfight and we found a way to come back from behind to win. So we've won some. I think the next step is the consistency of being in those close games and finishing every time and not some of the time.
I mean, you're right. I can only imagine how frustrating it must be, right? Like, I can only imagine the difficulty of knowing that you've got the program exactly where you want it. It's just, it's so close. It's right there. Coach, the biggest thing for you this season, beyond broadly, like just saying, hey, we continued on that trajectory, but the biggest area where you thought your team improved during the course of the season was what?
I'd say on our defensive side of the ball, the consistency of how we played in the second half of games. And, the goal is to play that way the entire part of the game. But when we started looking at the self-scout and, against really good teams, our defensive staff did a good job of figuring out what they were doing, making the necessary adjustments, and our players went out and executed. And so that piece of us as a team, and then I think just the running game as a complement to what everybody knew going in, that we had a talented receiver room and always have been able to throw the football. But to win in the Big Ten in November, you're going to have to run the football. And we sputtered there in some of the cold weather, windy, rainy games, and that's the part. But we came back and finished really strong in the Rutgers game. So I think those two areas are the areas where I saw some vast improvement, but we still got a way to go.
He is Mike Locksley. He's with us here on GCR. Coach, obviously, Leah told everybody he's going to wait until after the bowl game to make a decision. Can you just take me through your role and trying to help him, knowing, of course, you wouldn't be upset at all to have another year of Taulia Tagovailoa, but knowing that you want to do what's right for the young man, what does that look like, and what are those conversations like with you and he?
Yeah, I mean, not very many conversations between he and I in terms of, what we can and will do, because anybody that's watched him during his time here has seen the progression of how he's played. He's gotten better every year. He's been in our program, and I do think another year in our system, and he'll be going into the 23 season, the best returning quarterback, hopefully, in the Big Ten. And so, to me, I think that speaks volumes. But these are personal choices, man, and I have not one time had a problem with any kid that decided whether to declare, like guys like Deonte Banks and Rakim have done, or transfer out like guys like C.J. Dupree and some of the other guys have decided to do, because this is the world we live in college football, and coaches have had the ability to leave and do things to better themselves, and so why not the players? Now, I like to see it be a little more organized and the way it's been being done, where twice a year your whole team becomes free agents and you're limited with how many visits you can take and limited with how many scholarships you have. And we've got to navigate that. But the conversation is strictly a personal and business between him and his family, because the last thing I ever want to do is convince a kid to not declare, and then he comes back and has an injury, and now it's, hey, coach, I did this because of you. Or to a kid comes in and says he doesn't want to be here. I don't want anybody in this program that doesn't want to be here. I'm not going to convince you to be here. So that's not what I'm doing. We wish everybody well, and everybody has business decisions to make when it comes to staying and going. But I know one thing, it won't slow our program down one iota. We're going to go find the people that want to be here, that want to help us continue to take the next step.
Twofold from that. One, I know you and I have talked a lot about it, and I've always appreciated the fact that you have prioritized that you want what's best for the players. You know that there's a lot of people that have continued to say, this is ruining college football, and you've kind of always had the exact opposite, which is, no, this is what's best. What's best for the kids is what's best. That's what matters the most.
I agree. That's totally my approach. As I said before, as a coach, I get a chance to, if we win here and all of a sudden I get a chance to make a decision that betters myself, my family, personally, those are the decisions I get to make. So, players have the same opportunities. Obviously, we want guys to want to be here. We're trying to build a program that has the consistency. I'll be the first to tell you, I made the decision to recruit high school kids. When you look at the way our class is shaping up, I'm not a big transfer portal guy other than the field necessary needs like I've done with junior college players, because I want a consistency in what that locker room is like. And so, some programs have gone total transfer portal. It's affected the high school recruit, but that's not kind of how we want to do things here.
I understand that totally. Coach, with that in mind, there's been a lot of talk about bowl games specifically, and some of your guys are choosing not to play in the bowl games, and we get it, right? Like your priority is getting ready for the NFL draft. Is there a way to do things differently and make, just because you want these games to still be exciting and showcase opportunities, is there a way to change it to get kids to want to play in the bowl games before they go? Or is this just something we're going to have to accept, that bowl games are this is the way it's going to be moving forward?
Yeah, this is the way it's going to be. And if you haven't noticed, my approach to the bowl game is it's not the last game of the year, but the beginning of the next season. And that's where you start seeing me a year ago. People don't recall this, but Roman Hemby and guys like Antoine Littleton played major roles in the Pinstripe Bowl and really came on strong and had great years this year. And I can just tell you, going into the NC State game, you're going to see some young players that have played maybe minimum roles during the year. Now they're thrust into starting roles, and you'll see almost like the passing of the torch or the transition from last year to this year, because I can tell you, I've watched, Shalik Knotts, Punch Knotts, our young receiver, Leon Houghton, Octavian Smith. All these guys now have opportunities to step up, and they've really done that during these bowl practices that we've had. And so, for us, you'll see the influx of next year's team, the players, the young players that'll become focal points in our system. They'll be put on display in the game against NC State. And so to me, it'll be really competitive because of how we've recruited and how we develop these guys. And you'll still get the same kind of product.
By the way, I was going to say, at the receiver position, you kind of almost have to do that, obviously, given it is where you are. The importance still of somehow figuring out a way to win that game. Obviously, you want to get those young players involved. But I think you and I talked about it a year ago, that just winning a game against Virginia Tech, no matter what the circumstances are, it's galvanizing for a fan base, right? Now you get another ACC opponent, a location where you're probably going to have a lot of Maryland fans traveling to again for the game this year in Charlotte. The significance of that, whereas a lot of people would say it's a bowl game, it's silly, it's kind of a celebration, but what it actually does for your program and again, galvanizing this fan base seems like it's significant.
No, it's very significant for us. And one, it's a huge difference between 8-5 and 7-6. And so the object for us is to prepare, and we're putting together a game plan to go try to win the game. But definitely for our fans and anybody that's been associated with Maryland, to play an ACC opponent, I'm a big proponent of this type of scheduling. I'd much rather play one of our ACC rivals than play an SMU, which kind of doesn't fit, or play a Charlotte on the road. And so, this is to me what I'd like to see us do more of, these regional rivalries or these old rivalries from our prior conference. And it does galvanize our fan base, and there'll be competitive games. Again, our team is excited about going down to Charlotte and facing NC State. Dave Dorn is somebody I know really well, and he's had a great year down there, and they're facing some of the same things we're facing with, players leaving and not being there, or injuries, and we all face it at this time, but I can guarantee you it'll be a really good game.
No doubt about it. Just one more on the bowl game thing. I know the NCAA did like a waiver for eligibility rules that you could participate in the bowl game and not have it impact redshirt. Do you feel like that might be something that needs to become more permanent moving forward, given what we were just talking about, the number of players that are not going to be participating in bowl games?
Yeah, it sure would help, but we prepare for this knowing how we play our players, and we really only had one or two people that it affected where, we had saved a game. Now, had I known this, it would allow me to have played some of these younger guys one more game maybe. And so, no, I do think there's some great benefits to it, especially with losing players. Player safety becomes an issue when you have depth issues with whether you play a guy or doesn't play a guy because guys have declared. And so definitely makes it easy when they just blanket waiver that the bowl game is a neutral, does not count against your four. Helps us as coaches for sure.
All right, just another minute or two here with Mike Locksley on GCR. The momentum that you build, how many times do you find it funny when somebody says something about, I can't believe that Maryland is somehow in on this kid. I can't believe that kid's thinking about Maryland.
I don't get to hear that a lot because anybody that knows me knows I go big fish hunting, and I'm not taking a back seat based on where I'm at. And recruiting is a relationship business. I've built a really strong reputation in terms of being a guy that does what he says he's going to do, get guys degrees, prepare them for the next level, teach them how to be great husbands, fathers, better brothers, better sons. To me, those are the foundation of what it's like playing in a program led by me. So I don't get to hear that a lot because if they're usually from this area or I have some type of ties with these kids, I have enough third-party validation that will validate that I am who I say I am, and that the things that I'll say I'll do for a kid and helping him develop into becoming a man, we get done.
I know that's true. My buddy Mike Francis and I have talked about that a lot over the years, and it was great to be on the field with he and AJ the day of the food drive at the Ohio State game, and just what incredible humans those guys are.
Great family.
Before I let you go, we had Pete Shinnick on last Friday, and he was telling us about a phone call he got from you right after he got the job. And despite the fact that you guys are playing them the first game next year, you said, come on down, watch us in our bowl prep, whatever I can do to help you out. Can you take me through? We know how much Towson means to you, but it's a unique circumstance when you're going to be playing that team next year. Can you take me through why it is that you said, I don't care, I want to be here to help you, whatever that means?
Yeah, again, we all do the same things football-wise now. as we were game plan, we're not game planning for Towson. So, what we run and how we do it, he'll see what we're doing to prepare for NC State. Now, am I inviting them down to summer camp to watch us get ready for our first game? No, that won't be the case. But, obviously a change was made there. Rob Ambrose was a teammate of mine. I thought he did a phenomenal job there.
Yep. We
all get into this business and understand that the day we're hired, the only other thing that can happen next is being fired or you retiring. They decided to make a change. They brought in a veteran coach who has had great success in all the different places he's been. And I got a lot of respect for Pete and the job he's done as a coach at West Florida and some of the other places he's coached. So being an alum, when I heard about him getting a job, I thought, number one, coming to the state of Maryland, I owed it to him. We're the flagship university or the big brother here, per se, and I wanted to make sure that I introduced myself, extended the invite that, we're here to help promote the game of football for the great state of Maryland as a flagship university, and that extends to the other universities here in the state as well as high schools, youth football programs. And so, again, doors are always open. Obviously, we do play them game one, so once, we get done with bowl prep and we start, he can see all of the things we do in the off-season program, all those things. But as we prepare to play them, obviously, he becomes an opponent. And the goal will be for us, once we get to that game, is to find a way to go out and put our best foot forward as the Maryland football program.
Coach, always appreciate you. Not only rooting for you guys in the bowl game, but really rooting for you as you take this journey with your personal health. Maybe you and Frankie Tiafoe can be knocking around balls in this process. Something like that as you make that journey, man. Coach.
Yeah, I don't know about I had double knee replacement surgery this summer, so I don't know if I'm ready to go lateral just yet.
Probably not going to work out so much. Hey, Coach, congratulations on a successful season. Best of luck in the bowl game. Merry Christmas to you and your whole family, Kia, everybody. Thank you for taking the time for us, as always, all right?
No problem, guys. And don't forget it's my birthday on Christmas, too. Don't just say Merry Christmas.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Man,
it's got to be
right? It's got to be tough gift-wise. I can't imagine how that was a lot of fun growing up.
It was really fun because my mom's birthday was on Christmas, so she made sure I got gifts.
Oh, that's special, man. Coach,
yes, sir.
Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Thank you as always, my friend.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me on, Glenn.
Mike Locksley, Maryland football coach, with us here in GCR. Always enjoy our conversations with him. Of course, they are announcing their signing class today, throughout the day, on social media at Terps Football. Among those that are signing today, some locals like Tamaris Walker. One kid from Columbia that you might not know about is named Dylan Gooden, happens to be the son of former ace Doc Gooden, which I didn't know that entire story. Dylan Gooden from Good Counsel is signing with Maryland today. So, as a lot of people have pointed out, very interesting that once upon a time, Darryl Strawberry's son, of course, went to Maryland, DJ Strawberry, and now Doc Gooden's son is also at Maryland. Just kind of unique how that all works out. All right, today's show brought to you by PressBoxOnline.com/offers, where you can still get all of these great offers for sports betting incentives and signups, but you don't have long because at some point they are going to go away. That's a promise. Right now you can get $100 in free bets from Barstool after you place your first $10 bet, or up to $1,500 in risk-free bets from Caesars. Time's limited to get the best offers from all the sports books. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and sign up today. When we come back in, I want the boys to start working on their eggnog, and we're going to have Diego Fagot join us. We'll talk a little bit about the situation at Navy. That's on the way. Glenn Clark Radio.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and it's our annual Best Of issue. On the cover, we recognize Orioles catcher Adley Rutschman as our 2022 Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and he sits down with us to discuss how his arrival in Baltimore was simultaneous with the Birds' turnaround. Also inside, we recognize the top people, performances, and moments of the year throughout the local sports scene. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Join the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for Christmastide Stakes Day on Monday, December 26th. An exciting day of live horse racing awaits you with a whopping 6 stakes races worth $600,000 in prize money. Plus, enjoy a specially curated stakes buffet, a delicious hot chocolate bar, and hot cider cocktails. It may be cold, but Laurel Park has plenty of horse racing excitement, food, and beverages to keep you warm. Don't miss Christmastide Stakes Day at Laurel Park. Visit laurelpark.com for more info.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill, great food, good sports.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A Catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
Tune in to Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday at 11:40 a.m. And if you really have nothing better to do, keep listening to this show, too.
Gambling can be fun, but you should set a limit and stay within it. And remember, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. And, of course, you can find the scenarios for Would You Rather Wednesday right now on Twitter at Glenn Clark Radio or Facebook, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. You guys want to go ahead and how about we talk to Diego Fagot, and then you guys can start consuming your eggnog, all right?
Sounds good.
Interesting sort of, it's great to catch up with our next guest, who, of course, was an absolute warrior, just a beast during his career at Navy, and can provide us perspective both on the former coach and the new head coach at the Naval Academy, 2 men he knows really well. It's a pleasure to welcome back in former Navy linebacker Diego Fagot, who is with us now here on GCR. Diego, it's Glenn. It's great to catch up, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us this morning.
Yeah, Glenn, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to this conversation.
Man, it as much fun as it is to chat with you, it was a whole lot of fun to watch you play football, dude. And I don't know if we got the opportunity to talk after the Army game last year, but I have witnessed a lot of things in my life. I don't know that I've seen a whole lot more that one man does to try to lift his team up, bro. I know this isn't really a question and more of just me saying, my God, what fun it was to watch you play that game. I don't know where it will go in your life. I don't know what it'll rank, but my God, dude, what an unbelievable individual effort that was.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to take all the credit, but I mean, it's still up to the snapper. The snapper was the one that snapped me the ball. He was the one that a little bit. So My coach really prepared me to take that fake punt. Like I said, we did practice it a little bit, so I feel like I kind of had that in me all along, whether I was ready for it or not.
No doubt. Well, it will be every year when these teams get together. It will be relived eternity as one of the greatest highlights in Army Navy history. Diego, let me start with Ken, and then I want to talk to you about Coach Newberry. I can only imagine the shock, the surprise that you felt when you got the news. Just when somebody asked you, what is it like to play for Ken Niumatatlolo, what would you tell them?
Man, it's really hard to describe. I think that he is probably one of the biggest. I don't even know how to put it into words. He just cares so much about each and every one of us. And that's from the starters all the way down to the fifth string holder, whoever it is. He really does take the time to learn each and every one of us. He takes the time to learn our names, takes the time to learn our background, our families, and he does a really good job of remembering that stuff and just checking in whenever he can and whenever he see. I remember even as a freshman, he would, come and ask me questions that he didn't have to, just being like, a no-name freshman. But to see him go out the way he did, we're not dumb. It's not like we had, these past 3 years have not been great for Navy football in general. But to see him to go out the way that he did, I feel like was a very big disservice to him with, the way that how loyal he was, the way that, he fought through so much adversity, and it really hurt me and all my brothers and the alumni, beyond that, it was done the way it was. So, he deserves so much more, and I can't say enough about him. He's a great leader, someone I really look up to.
I share your reverence for the man, and certainly not having the relationship that you did with him, but the way that I've gotten to know him, he's just an unbelievable human. Bringing up what you did, obviously the records the last couple of years, can you explain to the common person what the difficulty was post-pandemic for Navy that made it maybe even more unique, and could perhaps explain a little bit of why it was tougher at Navy to keep up that absurd standard that had been set or in the early years of Ken Niumatatlolo, based on what you were up against that basically no one else in the country was up against?
Yeah, and I'll try to keep it short. But basically, and I'm not making any excuses. As a player, as a captain,
you want to win every game. I get it, man.
we want to win every game. We didn't get the job done, and that's the truth of the matter. But when you look at the whole thing, you can make an argument that in 2021 we lost 4 games by 7 points or less. In 2021, you can make an argument that we didn't even have a junior class. There was about probably most classes at the Naval Academy football players wise, we have about 35 players, and we had about 17 my senior year, and so all those 17 ended up making it to their senior year for this past year, but we were really, really lacking in experience. We were just super young, and at the Naval Academy, experience is everything, and depth is everything as well. So it was tough, when Kevin Brennan went down. It was tough when Mitch West went down, and a few other key pieces where, it's just one of those things where a younger guy had to step up, and that younger guy might have been a true freshman, or something like Avon Gibbons, who was coming off the scout team. And so it's like one of those things where, again, I'm not making excuses. It's just we had a whole class basically transfer with the transfer portal and all the NIL stuff and all the things that's going on because of COVID and because of whatever, they got into trouble that most people would never see because it's the military academy. And so it's just one of those things where it just didn't work out in our favor, and we ended up not being able to finish a few of those games at the down to the stretch.
It feels difficult to me, Diego, for that to be knowing, the way those circumstances. Of course, everyone connected to the Naval Academy knows those circumstances. To be judged based on those circumstances just feels very difficult for me to stomach as we deal with these things. That's, I know exactly what you're trying to say. Hey, we don't care. We should have won the games anyway. But for that to be the judgment of a coach is knowing what everything was going on and knowing that at other places, cough, cough, Air Force, they were letting guys come back and get extra years. it's a tough thing for me to stomach. That was where the judgment was made about the job of a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you look at Air Force and Army, both of those teams, their starting quarterbacks were 5th years. Both those teams had, the fullback for Air Force and Army 5th years. You know what I mean? Like there's just so many core players where if my class, if that class of 22 had a 5th year option and, the top 5 or 10 players came back, I mean, I personally think that would be, one of the best teams that we would ever have. So it's like, it's one of those things where, again, it is what it is. You wish circumstances were different, but, God has a reason for everything. So it's really his plan,
I'm starting to think about you and John Marshall, the way he played this season together on a date. My God, man. Yeah. That would be a pretty incredible combination. Diego Fagot is with us here on GCR. Diego, all that said, obviously the decision was made, and there's nothing you can do about that at this point. Navy did decide to stay in-house with Brian Newberry. We know how good the defense has been these last couple of years. Can you tell me about Coach Newberry and, within your disappointment, and I know that doesn't go away, your emotions about him being the choice to lead this program moving forward?
Yeah, like we talked about, I didn't really agree with the whole head coaching deal and how it's handled. But with that being said, Coach Newberry goes to work every day too. He's one of the hardest working individuals I know, and stays up late. In the office, is one of those guys that takes the time to still be with his family, even whatever when he has a lot of things that he probably could be doing with the football team and stuff like that. But he deserves it. I mean, his track record has proven that he can coach at a very high level. And I'm super, super excited for him to get this opportunity. And also my position coach and one of my best friends, Coach PJ Volker, he got elevated to the defensive coordinator position. And I'm just really, really excited for both of them. Just playing underneath, really, again, both of them. And this goes for Coach Newberry as well, is just having that. For some reason, we just always had a really good intuition. Certain things that, like, he would come over to me and be like, hey, listen, this is what and I'm like, yep, I know exactly what you're going to say. You know what I mean? Wow. So it's like one of those where it's like, me and him really, really clicked very well. And just, even against those academy teams out, he gave me the ability to call the game. And so, just having that ability to, understand what he wants me to do and understand what, my role as a player is, I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do as a head coach, and bringing in some offensive minds and things like that. I just, I'm really excited for him and our team.
Do you feel like, him staying on and keeping, you mentioned PJ Volker and there's going to be others. Do you feel like there can be an opportunity there to help? Because I can feel there is strain with you guys, and, of course you're always going to be Navy guys, but I can feel a strain. Do you feel like he's capable of helping to kind of heal some of those wounds that you're referencing about the decision that was made? I feel like that's the difficult part of, as difficult as the football part is right now, Diego, like the part of trying to heal the wounds within the program and the relationship with guys who are disappointed, that's something that I feel like Brian's going to have to take on as well right now.
Yeah, and I would say first and foremost, he's not Ken Niumatatlolo. Like, people have to understand and people have to get past the fact that he is not the same guy. And so he's going to have a learning curve in some things. I mean, it's growth, he's never been a head coach before. He's never been a head coach of a D1 football. Like, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's, there are going to be some pains. But at the end of the day, he's the man for the job. I think that nothing's going to change culture-wise with just the way that he approaches, the football team and being built off of that love piece and just how things are run behind the scenes. With honor and with integrity. I don't think any of those things will change. But again, it's more how will the players, how will the fans, how will the administration adapt to the fact that it's not Ken anymore. It's not the guy that it's been for the past 15 years. Because, like I said, his track record is proven. Coach Newberry's track record is proven. So it's really just, are we going to let him run with it?
I understand that, and certainly I'm sure you've heard from a lot of guys that had questions. The young players obviously have options. I'm sure some of them reached out to to you that knew you and said, "Hey man, what should I be doing here? I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit apprehensive about this. It's a tough spot, right? Like it's a very difficult spot for someone to be in that's made such an incredible commitment that now is got to be feeling a little dicey at the moment about that." Diego, I wanted to ask you, as someone who, I know it was brief, but you did get the opportunity to put on, a jersey and be a part of the Ravens franchise. There is debate again and legislation this week about the future of academy athletes being able to play professionally immediately. Of course, Andre Carter at Army stands out this year, and it looks like he's going to kind of be grandfathered into the current law, but there could be a change in law. The importance of allowing athletes at academies to have that opportunity to pursue professional sports, knowing, you guys are not giving up on your commitment to your country and to service at the same time. Can you speak to the significance of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I could talk about it for a little while, but I full-heartedly agree with letting athletes play at a professional level. Obviously, one, selfishly, but two, I think that it can do a lot more for the armed services to have guys like me, guys like Andre Carter, the Malcolm Perrys of the world, just, again, having that opportunity to play at a professional level. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times I've run into people that they're very ignorant in the fact that they don't understand that the military can really, really help you out. And what I mean by that is, me as a football player for, when I was with the Ravens, I got a few, I had a few opportunities to recruit, and that would have been my role. And even though I wasn't in the military, I would have, like the Marine Corps scratched my back, I scratched their back. I would go out and do recruiting things for them and hopefully get through to people that, instead of seeing someone in a uniform and, oh man, this is a little bit intimidating, they just see a regular guy like me who kind of went through it and who will serve at the end of his, tenure in the professional world. So, I don't really understand the whole, let's not let them play in the professional world, because again, it's really, one or two players per year. Right. It's not like there's 30 or 40 guys per year that are going and, getting out of service. It's not even like they're getting out of service. They're going to serve one day. So it's, I don't really understand it. I'm going to let the politicians do their thing, but
it's a dangerous sentence, Diego. That's a dangerous sentence. I'm going to let the politicians do their thing. Most of us aren't comfortable with those.
Especially my boss, I can't.
I hear
it's
you.
not like I have a choice in the matter. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
I put my opinion out there, but again, it's I'm under their will. So.
I know what you're saying, man. I completely get it. The rest of us are like, ooh, we're not sure if that's who we want making these decisions. We'd prefer to let Diego Fagot make these decisions. We'd prefer to let Malcolm and Keenan and Ricky Dobbs of the world. We'd let those guys make these decisions because we think they understand it a little bit better. Diego, can you just, before we let you go, can you tell us what life looks like for you at this point? Are you still, training for football opportunities? Have you, completely committed to, I'm just, service is what I'm doing, that's what I'm worried about? Can you just take us through what your life looks like at this point?
Yeah, so right now I'm working out in California, working out at Pro Code out here in Irvine. And basically, still working out, still training, still being ready for a call and workout or anything like that with the NFL team. Right now, what it looks like is I'll probably be playing in the XFL. I got drafted into the XFL, so it looks like I'll be playing there this upcoming spring, and then hopefully get some film and make it to another camp. So that's kind of the goal for my year this upcoming 2024 season.
We'd love if that ended up back in Baltimore. That would be really neat. I was brokenhearted that that they made the decision that they made, but I get it. It's a business. That's the way it works. And we're gonna root like hell for you wherever you end up because, man, you're a hell of a player and a great dude. Diego Fagot, really appreciate taking the time for us this morning, man. Thank you for spending it with us. A happy holiday to you and your family. Diego Fagot 54 on Twitter if you guys want to give him a follow. Thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Glenn, and a Merry Christmas.
You too, man. Diego Fagot with us here on GCR. Appreciate him a great deal. really providing some unique perspective on a lot of interesting topics, and I really appreciate that. All right, we're winding down at hour number 1 of GCR. Do you have the eggnog out, or you need to go back and get it from the fridge?
I can go get it real quick.
All right, can we take a minute before we chat with Bo? Is that all right? Is Bo next, or is
Bo is next?
Bo is
yes.
next. Can we just
we can probably take a minute.
Just
yeah.
All right. I mean, you tell me if we got to call him. We got to call him because we can
we'll
do this.
We'll call him.
All right. Never mind. How much? I just want to be respectful to you. How much time are you gonna need? A pint's not that much, right? You're not gonna need that much time.
I shouldn't need that much.
All right, Carson. Wait. We'll do it after Bo. All right. We'll wait after we talk to Bo. Griffin tells me that Bo's out with the Ravens. I get it. His schedule is important. It's what it is. I want to be respectful of that. We changed our mind. We got to do it after this call. All right. We'll talk to Bo. Then we'll do. I'm sorry, Carson. You don't need that long to drink a pint of eggnog, right? You said you enjoyed eggnog. God, this is psychopath. I'm not sure I want him around any longer. I think I've changed my mind about old Carson Tri-Weekly. Think I might not be able to keep him around. Today's show brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Normal hours through the holidays. They are not changing their hours at all. So you can get down. Football games going on throughout the weekend. Of course, big NBA slate on Sunday. If, for whatever reason you don't celebrate, your family's not here, whatever the reason is, you can go spend the day hanging out with a great atmosphere in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Watch and bet on all of the games. It is the best place to do it. The FanDuel Sportsbook, Live Casino, and Hotel Maryland. All right, joining us now, PressBox Ravens beat writer Bo Smolka. Bo, good morning, my friend. How are you?
Good, thank you.
The Ravens wide receiver core isn't so good.
No, it's not.
I didn't know how to say this because I'm using the term shuffling the deck chairs, and I feel like that's disrespectful to Devin Duvernay because the potential of Devin Duvernay at a point this season certainly felt more significant than anything you might be getting from Sammy Watkins, but the reality of the last couple of weeks was that he just wasn't very impactful. It hurts, it stings, particularly as a returner. Until Saturday, he'd been outstanding as a returner this season, but how do you really quantify the loss of a Devin Duvernay?
I mean, he's obviously been – it's a significant loss given all he does as a receiver, as a rusher, and as a returner. But to your point, he's been uneven at best for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I thought the Cleveland game was one of his worst games of the year. I mean, he had the muffed punt on the first play of the day. He brought 2 balls out of the end zone on kick returns and didn't get back to the 20. He just looked worn down, and maybe he wasn't healthy to begin with.
Right.
But he was out there at practice yesterday, and then they were doing kick returns, and then at the time he was not doing a kick return that I saw, but then when they broke up the special teams and went to the offensive period of practice, which is kind of the time when we're kind of shepherded off the field, we noticed him walking in really slowly with the trainer. So I don't know if something specifically happened in one of those first offensive plays or if something had been building up. But the thing with him early in the year, obviously he was shining. He had the 3 touchdown catches early in the first 3 games. And the other thing that he did, if you go back and watch some of the long runs they've had, especially by Lamar Jackson, they came off decoy jet sweep to Duvernay because teams had to respect Duvernay on the jet sweep. It stretched the defensive horizontally, and then that opened up the middle of the field. And I know that happened on Jackson's long touchdown run. I think it was against Miami. I can't recall right now, but that's where I think he's been effective. Less effective in the last month with everything that he did. And I think that's a big part of it is that, like I said, I don't know if it looked to me like he was worn down. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure Sammy Watkins at this point in his career is any upgrade over a worn down Devin Duvernay, but this is the state of the Ravens receiver room right now.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly the point, Bo, is like, I can't be down on it. What do they have? Like, I don't know what they could do today that I could say is a bad idea. They just don't have anything at the position. So sure, bring in Sammy Watkins. Hell, see if Derek Mason wants to come out of retirement. I don't know. You don't have anything who are you taking opportunities away from by bringing back Sammy Watkins?
A lot of people are now saying, well, hey, give Andy Isabella a shot. Give Shamar Bridges a shot. Just give anybody a shot. I mean, there's just this desperate feel about this Ravens receiver group, and it's fair. And this is quite frankly on Eric DeCosta for gambling on a receiver room that had to have Rashad Bateman stay healthy and expected major jumps from Tylan Wallace and James Prochet that just haven't happened. And so this is the state of the team, and they've built it.
Can we assume that it's bad news Lamar Jackson wasn't on the practice field? I keep trying to come back to this, Bo. I don't think he had to put in a full week in order for him to be able to play. But I don't know, man. Like, just something about him not practicing the first day of the week that says to me, specifically with a quarterback, I don't know if I expect that he's going to just show up tomorrow and be ready to go on Saturday.
I mean, I know when people were pointing to Atlanta being maybe the game he would return in, I think the expectation among us yesterday out there was we thought we would see him out there. So John Harbaugh's been mum all week, of course, but I would say it was a modest surprise for some of us that we didn't see him out there. And I don't think that bodes well for him for this weekend. Let's face it, though, he has missed practices in other weeks and played.
Sure.
But this is different because he's coming off a knee injury. He's missed 2 games. And obviously, coming off a knee injury specifically, what will his game look like with his running or with his throwing with having not practiced now in 2.5 weeks? So it certainly doesn't bode well. Yeah, there's still a chance, and the Ravens are going to be as mum as they can be on him. But I thought him not being out there yesterday was a setback.
Bo Smolka, PressBox Ravens beat writer, with us here on GCR. Bo, I'll give you the question. I've asked a couple of people this week. I get it. The standard is lower for Tyler Huntley. He's a backup quarterback. But even by that standard, he played poorly on Saturday. I mean, it was a poor performance. Is there some world where maybe the Ravens would need to have a shorter leash? Like if he continued to play poorly, if he starts on Saturday, is there some world where they have to think about letting Anthony Brown have a shot at some point during the game? I get that, like, there's nothing there. I don't know. That was really bad on Saturday.
No, I think everyone's disappointed with that because, I mean, Tyler Huntley is a backup quarterback for this team because he's the second best quarterback on the roster. I mean, I know when he's had a couple of good games, people are like, oh, he's going to be a starting quarterback. He is who he is, but he's better than he played Saturday for sure. Will there be a shorter leash with him? I don't know. I mean, Anthony Brown is also who he is. Right. He's an undrafted rookie practice squad guy. And so remember, when he played against Pittsburgh, it was pretty much run the ball all the time. He was 3 for 5 for, I think, 16 yards. The biggest problem with the Ravens they just got nothing going in the passing game, nothing downfield. And as we know, they were able to run the ball at will, and then they chose not to do it.
Oh, I don't remember that, Bo. Did that happen?
I mean, I wrote it last week. I said they were down 10, and Greg Roman acted like he was down 30. Yep. And it's inexcusable. It's unexplainable, even though they tried to explain it away. Huntley has to play better, no doubt about it. I think he does have to. He has to every now and then just throw one 20 yards downfield. Now the question is, who is he going to throw it to? Because he's running out of receivers.
Yep.
But I think there's palpable frustration. Mark Andrews was really frustrated yesterday. That was about as salty as I can remember him at the podium session. And they hear the noise and it's, but they're also frustrated because they're not producing. And I think there's just this kind of tension in the building right now. And I know they're saying all the right things, but it's been highly frustrating. Starting, from the top. And Huntley, if it's him, he absolutely will have to play better.
So to your point, Bo, obviously, whatever John Harbaugh was going to say in a press conference, it's caused a great deal of consternation within the fan base. It was a horrible attempt at an explanation, right? The idea that, if you run the ball, the clock moves. Well, the clock doesn't stop going out of bounds yet with 10 minutes left in the game. That's not the way it works. It only stops when an incomplete pass, and an incomplete pass doesn't help you. I have no idea what you think that explanation is because you're not getting chunk yards. This team can't get chunk yards. So it was poor. That being said, I said a couple times this week, I don't get worked up about press conferences. I don't know if you and I have talked about it. But unfortunately, it's part of the reason why I kind of stopped going was just because I really kind of accepted what they are. Like, you have to because it's your job. You got to write about them, and I get it. But it's mostly theater to me at this point. I understand that everybody wants Greg Roman fired. Well, if they're not going to fire Greg Roman, there's nothing that John Harbaugh is going to say that's going to pacify you. And I get that he's not going to walk out there and trash his offensive coordinator that has to go call the plays for him on Saturday. Like, imagine him walking out and being like, this guy stinks. He's terrible. And then just trying to walk back into a room and say, all right, buddy, what you got for me this week? Like, I don't know what he could have possibly said that would have pacified anyone, excepting that obviously the explanation he gave for what happened with 10 minutes left was pure hogwash.
Well, a couple things there. Number one, if he's not going to fire Greg Roman, then there's a certain percentage of the fan base that just doesn't care what he says because that's all they want to hear. Right. And if he doesn't say it, then they're not going to be happy. The explanation, I disagreed with it when they did it. I disagreed with it after they did it because the argument that the clock, exactly what you said, the argument that the clock runs on running plays, the clock also runs on 4-yard pass plays. And they were getting, their 3 longest plays in that game were runs. And they built this. The argument was that the passing game was the recipe for quick strikes in a game you were down 2 scores, but nothing in that game indicated that they had any quick strike capability passing. The only quick strikes they had all game came running the ball. So that agitated people, and I disagree with his reasoning. He was not going to publicly throw Greg Roman under the bus. He just wasn't going to do that. And if he makes a coaching change, then maybe he says he's making a coaching change with, as I said, without doing that, people aren't going to be happy. The people that want him gone. The other interesting thing that his comment about fans at the end of the bar really agitated people.
Yep.
So many people took offense to that. I'll be honest with you. I always kind of like sitting at the end of the bar, but people are really worked up because they felt almost insulted by him describing fans that way. So that was kind of curious. But to your point, there was a certain element of the crowd, of the fan base, that wants Greg Roman gone. And if John Harbaugh doesn't come in on Monday morning after that game and say Greg Roman's gone, it doesn't matter what he says. They're not going to be happy.
And Bo, to the point, and I wrote about it, this was the first time to me that I thought this was a fireable offense, right? This was I'm so flummoxed by what was happening in that moment that it makes me question your ability to do the job. And it doesn't ignore, you can't rewrite history. There are people that want to make it seem like Greg Roman has stunk. That's not reality. That's not fact. Their offense has consistently been good under Greg Roman. But this was so bad that it was fireable to me. I admitted afterwards, given the circumstance, if you fire Greg Roman, you're not built to do something else. You don't have the horses to change the offense. You're just going to be doing the same things that you would be doing with Greg Roman. So why would you have someone else be the coordinator of a Greg Roman offense at that point?
You could theoretically make a move from within, but are you going to now, when you're suddenly fighting for your playoff positioning, would you make a change to a guy who's now going to start calling plays with a backup quarterback in there? There's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
And I agree. I thought the sequence in the fourth quarter when they got 2nd and 4,
yep.
And they threw
plays.
3 consecutive incompletions, including a 4th down pass to James Prochet, which I believe was his first snap of the game. That entire sequence, and of course that 4th down play came with a play clock at basically 0. Right. They were out of rhythm again. Everything about that sequence from 2nd down through 4th down was a complete inexplainable mess. And so that I thought it was maybe their worst possession of the entire season.
Yep.
And so fireable offense, I don't know about that, but if he is removed after this season, then there's no question that I'm going to point to that particular sequence as one that validates the move.
I'll never in my life understand what in the hell happened. You knew. The other thing too is that you knew that you were going to go for it on 4th down. There's not even an argument about, well, we have to throw the ball on 3rd down because we got to convert. You knew you were going for it on 4th down. You had every opportunity in the world to try to hand the ball off. But other than that, Bo, everything is a lot of fun. Just a great time, as you point out, for everybody involved.
Well, hey, look at this. Just all we're talking about is the offense. They got a serious situation here with Marcus Peters potentially being out because they don't have 3 cornerbacks on this team that they trust right now. Because if they did, Kyle Hamilton would not be basically the slot corner. And so maybe they get away with it against Atlanta and a rookie quarterback and a team that doesn't throw a whole lot. But this is and I don't know what the status is with Marcus Peters. He didn't practice yesterday. He honestly hasn't had a great year, but he's been off Wednesdays a lot this year. In fact, he's been off Wednesday and Thursday many weeks. But I don't expect him to play this week. And this is, if that lingers into 2-3 games for him, that is going to be a significant thing for this team.
Well, and they happen to look a lot more vulnerable against the run when Calais Campbell was out on Saturday. Tyler Algier ran for 8 yards per carry a week ago. So just things worth pointing out about everything that's going on. Quickly, we got a new issue of PressBox out today. It is our Best of 2022 issue with our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Adley Rutschman, on the cover, as we announced yesterday. Inside, Bo, you want to tell everybody who you wrote about?
I wrote about Roquan Smith and how quickly he's assimilated into this team. Marlon Humphrey said he fits the culture, which is to me a way of saying he should be here for the long term. And I agree, he does fit the culture. He's very well liked in that locker room within a couple weeks. But he's also expecting to be paid top dollar. He expects to. That's one reason why things broke down for him in Chicago. He's been terrific for this team. He's made Patrick Queen better. He's made most of that defense better. And the big question that I ask in this issue is there's two things. Can the Ravens afford to keep him, knowing he wants top dollar, but can they afford not to keep him? Because if they don't keep him, then what does this defense look like next year? But he's been a terrific trade. There's no doubt about that. I was just ripping Eric DeCosta for the wide receiver construction, but that was a terrific trade he made at the deadline.
No question about it. This dude is special. All right, at B Smolka on Twitter, and, of course, the Believe in Ravens podcast with he and Dan Wilcox. Bo, Merry Christmas, my friend, to you and to your family. Enjoy a little bit of time this weekend. Look forward to catching up again next week. Thank you, as always, for taking the time for us.
All right, Glenn, thanks. Take care.
Bo Smolka, PressBox Ravens beat writer, with us here on GCR. And, yes, again, our Best of 2022 issue. Go ahead and grab the eggnog now. Yeah, go ahead. The Best 22 issue is available right now at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Not only our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, Adley Rutschman, as Sanzi announced with us yesterday, but also the top people, performances, and moments of 2022, sort of spanning the local sports scene, high school, college, professional, men's, women's, everything, about as thorough as we can possibly do inside the Best of issue. We put a lot of effort into it every year. Not to say we aren't proud of the other issues, but we are particularly proud of this issue every year. And Luke and I sat down, had a lengthy conversation with Adley Rutschman about his year, so the whirlwind of all of it. And obviously our decision reflects not only, his outstanding season, but significantly the hope that he has brought to a downtrodden fan base, given not only his hype, but then him really, really living up to it. So very important stuff for us. All right, now, last week's picks did not go so well for our boys. What was you guys were both 4-5 or 4, what is 3-5? 3-5, right? Or is it worse than that? You were both 2-6?
Yes, we were both 2-6.
God.
2-6-1.
The hell? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had the push.
Yeah, don't forget about that. Brutal. So
It was brutal, yeah.
I threw out that we would do eggnog, and then I wanted to chug it, and then I found out that some guy had to go to the hospital because he was chugging eggnog. So I guess we can't do that.
Shout out that guy. Saving us.
I mean, you guys are champs, of course. You guys, it wouldn't happen to you. And so instead, we decided we'd go with a pint. Now, I just realized that all I was thinking about was the possibility that I was going to lose. And to me, eggnog is disturbing.
I don't know if I've ever had eggnog.
Ever?
I don't know.
You know what it tastes like?
I don't know what it tastes like.
You ever had a vanilla milkshake?
I mean, I'm about to find out.
Like a vanilla milkshake melts and it's just all liquid. That's what it tastes like.
No, it's because it's more solid than that. It's more like there's more it's eggier than that, right?
True.
Like the texture is a problem. Like the taste isn't good, but the texture is a problem. Some people love eggnog. It's just what they're into. I will never be that person. There will never be a time where this is something that is for me.
It has like a custardy texture almost.
It's very custardy. I agree with that.
Okay. All right.
So you guys are going to split. This is 2 pints in a box. You guys are going to split that. I had said you would have the entirety of the show, but between this psychopath, Carson Tri-Weekly, admitting that he is an eggnog fan, and given what we've seen Griffin consume over the course of the year, I realized you didn't need the entire show. We can probably just do this now, which is good, because we still have 3 breaks to take. We are way behind.
Yeah.
How about while you pour that, we take a break here. We'll come back in. They'll consume their eggnog. Then we'll chat with Dave Archer, Falcons color analyst, coming up next. If you are looking for a simple holiday meal, try Chick-fil-A catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, man, those trays. I need a Chick-fil-A tray. They've got a variety of options, sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app. Bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details. Eggnog and Falcons preview. That's on the way. Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
What's up, everyone? This is Tyus Bowser, and I'm excited to tell you that I'm back for Season 2 of the Tyus Bowser Show in partnership with PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia. Join us on Tuesday nights throughout the season as I'll be heading all over town with my special guests. And, of course, our co-hosts, Glenn and Rita. Or is it Rita and Glenn? What is it? I look forward to meeting you guys and talking a little bit about football and a lot about life. And if you happen to miss the show, you can now catch a replay Friday nights on 105.7 The Fan. Get all of your details for the Tyus Bowser Show right now at PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser.
The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, January 3rd at Guilford Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. It's brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialist and the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets every Tuesday morning at 11:40. FanDuel Sportsbook GM Leon Twyman and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all of the info you need and offer you a few winners. And every other Thursday at 11:40, tune in for Weekend at Bookies as Andrew Stecca and Alloy Sports' Brad Kronthal help make you some money for the weekend. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Tuesday and Weekend at Bookies every other Thursday. Brought to you by the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
The weather outside is really unpleasant, so it's time to warm up with some comfort classics this winter at your neighborhood Glory Days Grill. Try the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo. It's 2 full pounds of meat, the mac and cheese bites, Mr. Richards meatloaf, the citrus salmon, the winter spinach salad, and for dessert, here's internet radio personality Griffin Bass to tell you about the bourbon butter cake.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Pair it with a blood orange bourbon cider or a devil's backbone cranberry smash. Place your order now at glorydaysgrill.com. Glory Days Grill. Great food, good sports.
Check out Jeremy Kahn's daily picks at PressBoxOnline.com as he tries to find you daily winners. And speaking of winners, here's a man who once won a media curling contest. And I don't think anything else. He's Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along here on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Today's show also brought, just a reminder, Stan the Fan and Ross Grimsley caught up with Dr. Meredith Wills. You can find that right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. All right, Griffin, you don't believe you've ever had a taste.
Apparently, my brother texted me. He said, a couple holidays ago, a couple Christmases ago, I did have it at our friend's house.
I
barely remember.
Was it regular or boozy eggnog?
I can't remember, actually.
Okay, well.
I guess regular? I don't know.
One time, maybe the darkest moment of my drinking days was one Christmas where I was single. And I was hanging out at a buddy's house, and I went to the fridge on Christmas Eve, and the only things I could find were eggnog and brandy. And I just said, no, it wasn't brandy, because brandy would have fine. It was gin. It was eggnog and gin. And I said, I guess this is how my evening is going.
Was it good night?
No.
No?
Well, I mean, I don't remember. How would I possibly remember if it was good night or not? I don't think it was, if I remember correctly. It was a lonely evening, if I remember correctly. But that, these things happen. You grow up and you never do that again. You guys are just drinking straight eggnog. You want to go? You want to toast?
I guess so.
There
Yeah.
you go. Toast. Here's the
Cheers,
swimming.
Griff.
Here's the swimming with Bowlug women. Oh, Griffin that's filled right to the line. Yes. A nice, delicious, refreshing sip of eggnog.
Yeah, I guess that's I guess it's definitely not. It's not good.
For the purpose of the bit, you should probably make it clear. That would have been better. This psychopath has already acknowledged that he enjoys it, which is just.
There's nice. I got a cinnamon taste in this one.
I believe that's the Southern Comfort brand of eggnog that is mixing in a little bit of that. I'll never care for it. I know our buddy John in Little Rock is an eggnog guy.
I do like the cake of cinnamon that I'm getting.
It's also ultra.
In fact, John says clearly he loves eggnog.
Actually, not terrible. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is.
Why does it always
Why
does it always have to be this way nowadays? What was the last one that you just flat out enjoyed? What was
Taco Bell?
Well, yeah. I mean, you just.
I like Taco Bell.
You were just having a meal.
That was Taco Bell.
Just having lunch.
Like $28 worth of Taco Bell. He's like, I could have had $56 worth of Taco Bell. It would have been fine. Now he's just having a nice, refreshing glass of eggnog today. Damn it, this is a real letdown. It has been requested by Ryan.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to finish it.
I can't imagine. I couldn't imagine having more than a sip, honestly.
Yeah, definitely two sips.
Just gross. Not a fan. It was requested by Chug. Oh, no, wait, we can't. I want you to go to the hospital. It was requested by Ryan that for next week's picks, in honor of Mike Locksley,
Carson topping it off.
Of course. Carson, by the way, would have drank the entire. What is 2 pints a quart? Is that what it is?
This is exactly 2 pints.
Yes,
right
we're having 4 servings each. Actually,
is it a quart? Is that what 2 pints, or is a quart
yes.
4 pints?
Yeah. So there's 2 pints in a quart. So there's 1 quart of eggnog. Right?
My kids, when they end up
4 cups,
they're gonna come to me trying to help with their
4 cups
homework.
and
I'm gonna be like, dude, I got nothing for you. I don't know what these things are. I'm gonna have to look it up online.
If they ask you how many pints are in a quart, you're gonna think back to this moment when I showed you this eggnog box.
So wait,
there's 4 cups.
4 cups in a what?
In a pint.
In a pint.
Yes.
4 pints in a
gallon.
In a gallon.
Yeah.
So a quart is a half gallon.
There's 4 quarts in a gallon.
4 quarts in a gallon. So there's 8 pints in a gallon.
8 pints is a gallon.
Yeah. So you're an idiot. You
What
tried
did I
to.
say?
You said 4 pints.
Yeah, you said 4 pints in a gallon.
Yeah.
No. You asked me how many quarts are in a gallon.
You said
4.
pints.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, maybe
not an idiot.
In conclusion, we're all idiots.
Yeah. So that part is true. That part is absolutely accurate. But you're the idiots who are drinking eggnog. I don't have to do that. So I got that.
Can't
going
pick
for
football
me.
games.
Oh, that's much more pleasant. That'll be for tomorrow. Some delicious beer from Union Craft Brewing for our drinking show. John Colson's wandering in with today, including is that the Steady Eddie that I see?
Eddie?
The Steady Eddie. What else is in there? You got the Goat. Oh, the Goat IPA. Yeah.
Wear my Steady Eddie T-shirt tomorrow.
The Divine. All right, that's a good one. And the Duck Pin. No. I don't think I've had Zadie's. Oh, it's kosher beer.
Wow,
that's wonderful. It's Hanukkah, so that's perfect. Oh, I love that. We'll be enjoying some Union brews tomorrow for our drinking show, as well as whatever gross things Jeremy brings in because he hates us. That's the plan. Tomorrow we got a big show. We'll be doing that. We got the Bean Boozled jelly beans. John Proctor is going to prepare some sort of contest involving the Bean Boozled beans. Also, we will have David DuBois coming in studio, hanging out. We will be making our picks tomorrow, and we'll see who else wants to get involved with picks. My thought is...
Maybe we get David DuBois in picks.
I don't know if we're going to... Ryan requested that in honor of... We were talking with Mike Locksley earlier about him committing to taking the Mayo bath. The suggestion was that the loser of picks this week also commit to taking a Duke's Mayo bath.
No.
And Carson... Now, obviously, we wouldn't be able to do it... it wouldn't. We'd have to make a separate video.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to do it as part of the show because we can't get...
plaster some...
Bring in a baby pool.
I mean...
You bring in a baby pool.
It would be a lot of effort. I guess it's not impossible that we could do it. The baby pool is an interesting idea. Do you have a baby pool?
I might.
I mean, if you've got a baby pool, I guess we could
check,
look into that. I don't
I mean, everybody's got that shelf.
We
in their
had
garage
a
with
baby
bunch of
pool,
stuff.
but we got rid of it because the kids aren't babies any longer. So I don't think we have one. But if you got one, maybe we could consider it. Otherwise, we just do it outside. Like we'll figure out a way to make it work that we can pull this off. You would have to, and if it's somebody who's not part of the show, so we'll see. Like I don't know if Jeremy's going to want to get involved. I have no idea if anybody else who's here tomorrow is going to want to get involved with it.
You know, if we wanted to do it as part of the show, we could always put these blinds up, do it right there,
and just turn the camera through the
camera.
Does that work, Griffin? Could we?
Yeah.
I mean, like, would that show us the outside?
Oh, yeah. We can see that pickup truck right now.
All right. Well, if that works, we could do it like that
right
and then
there.
have it be part of the show for the Dukes. We wouldn't get sound that way, but I guess we could also film it. We could both do it, and then we could also film the Mayo
We could,
Bath.
call in from out there.
That's true. That would be an option. Be a very weird way of doing the show. All right, so we're doing the Mayo Bath.
Oh, my God.
It's just a terrible idea.
The problem, too, is that we don't... me and you?
But I don't know. Carson said he was in.
Oh, Carson said,
I'll do the Mayo Bath.
And we'll see if anybody else would be willing to do it. I don't know how the other boys are going to feel about doing that one. The problem also being if we do it as part of the show, we don't have like a hose here. We don't have we don't have shower areas here. Like we don't have the same ability to clean it out of our hair here.
Oh, hair is going to be the worst.
Yeah, that is definitely the problem. It might be the type of thing that we just have to acknowledge won't be part of the show, and it will be a special video made. We'll think through that, what that might look like, because we don't really have the ability to clean ourselves off. And the idea of dumping water on ourselves outside when it's going to be about 5 degrees, I don't know if you guys saw, it's going to be Arctic this weekend in Baltimore for the holidays.
You could also do it like at home. Like I'm sure
That was
my
what
younger
I was-
brother would take great joy in dumping.
Right,
mayo
and that's
all
the
over
point
me.
being. Like we might just have to make that the way that we go about doing it is like, you make your own video in the shower or something like that
that's
of
no
getting
problem.
mayonnaise dumped on you.
That's no problem.
All right, we'll do the Mayo Bath for the loser of this week's picks contest. Cool. Fun. Good times. Yay. Plus, I'll be drunk when we make our picks tomorrow. So definitely something that I should be putting on the line for a drunk. Oh, God. Today's show brought to you by UMBC Basketball, which is much better than a Mayo Bath. I promise you that. They got a big game coming up on January 1st, UMBC Vermont. Showdown, rematch of last year's America East Championship game. Get your tickets right now to experience Game Day at the Peak by going to umbcretrievers.com. We are going to catch up with Drew Forrester. He has shared some pictures, and I retweeted them at Glenn Clark Radio as he is down at Helping Up Mission today, as today was our I don't know what we call this because it's not a collection event. It's our drop-off event, I guess, as the folks at Helping Up Mission are receiving the wonderful donations that you gave them. Between the toiletries and the underwear and all the incredible things that are going to seriously help the people that are in need at Helping Up Mission, and we thank you a great deal for all of that. We're going to take a break and then see if we don't get Dave Archer, life will go on. We will survive. We'll talk to Drew, and we'll do Would You Rather Wednesday. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio for Would You Rather Wednesday. Either Dave Archer or Drew Forrester, similarly accomplished men. Coming up next, Glenn Clark Radio. Looking for a simple holiday meal? Try Chick-fil-A Catering. From Chick-fil-A nuggets to mac and cheese, enjoy a variety of tray options sized perfectly for your get-together. Order through the Chick-fil-A app and bring smiles to your family gathering. Availability and order requirements vary. See restaurant for details.
Come experience Maryland's #1 sportsbook this NFL season at the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, the ultimate place for any sports enthusiast. Take advantage of our 24/7 kiosks, massive video screens, and watch all the action from the best seat in the house. With more money paid out than anyone around, make every moment more at the new FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
The Baltimore County Police Department is hiring. Entry-level officers start at close to $59,000 a year with a $10,000 bonus. Some restrictions apply. Plus a great retirement plan, medical, dental, and vision insurance, advancement to specialized units, tuition reimbursement, 15 sick days earned per calendar year, and even further incentives for military members and veterans. If you have a passion for service and want a career for life, visit joinbaltimorecountypd.com or call 410-887-5542. You must be a United States citizen, possess a valid driver's license, and have a high school diploma or GED equivalent. The Baltimore County Police Department is an equal opportunity employer.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Need a last-minute gift for a kid in your life? How about a membership to the Retriever Kids Club? It includes free youth admission to all regular season UMBC home games, plus a t-shirt and a drawstring backpack. Membership is only $35. It's a great deal, makes a tremendous holiday gift. Visit umbcretrievers.com/kids club for more info. Membership is for kids 12 and under. The Retriever Kids Club. Find out more, umbcretrievers.com/kids club.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now, and it's our annual Best Of issue. On the cover, we recognize Orioles catcher Adley Rutschman as our 2022 Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year, and he sits down with us to discuss how his arrival in Baltimore was simultaneous with the Birds' turnaround. Also inside, we recognize the top people, performances, and moments of the year throughout the local sports scene. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Join Glenn at halftime of every Ravens game for the Project Game Day halftime show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. We apologize in advance. There's not much we can do about his face.
$200 in free bets from DraftKings after you place your first $5 bet, or $1,000 in risk-free bets from BetMGM. But time is limited on all of these great offers and incentives for signing up here in the state of Maryland. So get to PressBoxOnline.com/offers right now in order to get signed up. How is the eggnog sitting, Carson? You were the one that was like, dude, I love eggnog. I'll drink a bathtub's full.
It tastes nice.
Yeah, but
it's sitting a little heavy in my
stomach.
That's
the part. That's the part. You're starting to say,
but it tastes nice.
Maybe a pint, a little bit more eggnog than you needed today. Carson was telling us about how he and his brother were planning on going to the taco store, the burrito store, for lunch after this today, and boy, that combination of burrito store burritos and eggnog just seems really like a lot.
Yeah, that first half I think went down a lot quicker and easier than I think this next half is going to.
Yeah, you're struggling over there.
You gotta get below the label.
Is your breath starting to get heavy? Like, are you starting to have that feeling of
like when you ever have like a milkshake or something and your breath feels heavy?
I never felt that with a hot chocolate. Okay, I could see that. Never really felt that with milkshakes, which might have been part of my problem. Is that I just sucked them down. That might have been the issue that I dealt with.
But you strike me as a chocolate milkshake guy.
No, I don't. Now I'm nothing, right? Like now I don't. No milkshakes.
But in your times of drinking,
I think when I was a child, I preferred chocolate. I was never really you know what I really liked is like the ice cream the same way. I like strawberry more than I liked either one. Yeah. I was always a fruit flavor man. I think we did ice cream flavor. Did we do a definitive power ranking? We haven't done definitive power rankings in a little while. I don't know if we ever did an ice cream flavor one. I thought we did because I feel like
that'd be a fun one to do.
I fought about butter pecan and I fought about chocolate chip cookie dough, of course, being the one seeds there. If you don't like butter pecan ice cream, get the F out. Get out. Yeah, you're like, it sounds like an old man thing to say. Yes, because it's delicious. I'm sorry, I like things that are delicious.
The unacceptable one's pistachio. That you can't like. That's no good, man.
Not a big pistachio ice cream. I don't like mint chocolate chip either. I don't like. Nope. I like to separate mint. Mint is for freshening my breath, not for.
I liked mint chocolate chip. Like I loved it when I was a kid. For some reason,
Mrs. Clark is a big mint chocolate. I don't eat ice cream any longer, so I don't know how.
I like the thin mint ice cream though. That's the
thin mint, like the Girl Scout thin mint. I didn't know they made an ice cream out of that. I don't like thin mints, so that would be What are you doing with your life? You get whatever the peanut butter sandwich is. That's the Girl Scout cookie that you should be consuming.
Tag-alongs, I think is what they are.
Really quickly, before we go to Drew, who is at Helping Up Mission, we did not talk at the top about the Carlos Correa news from last night, mostly because it doesn't really impact us. But obviously significant, as all of a sudden there's a catch with the Giants and the physical with Carlos Correa, and whatever it is, it did not prevent Steve Cohen from giving. I hope Steve Cohen's not planning on selling the Mets at any point, because my God, the expenses that he has taken on. Twofold. One, I've said a million times, I don't get bothered by somebody else spending their money. Go spend your money on baseball players. I'm always going to be in favor of it. So when somebody says, I wouldn't be giving Carlos Correa that, okay, you don't have to. I said it a million times. I don't. However, a wealthy man wants to spend his money. That's his call. Like, he can do whatever he wants. Steve Cohen wants to win a World Series for the New York Mets. He is hell-bent on winning a World Series. Will this be enough? I genuinely don't know. I can't tell you if this will be enough for them to win a World Series. They certainly have a good team on paper. There's no doubt about it, and Carlos Correa helps a great deal. I know my buddy RDT from Barstool pointed out, like, what a roller coaster of an offseason for Giants fans. Like, at one point, you believed a reputable baseball reporter said you had Aaron Judge. Then hours later you didn't. But all good, you came away with Carlos Correa. I mean, at least you got that going for you. Right up until you didn't. I mean, I can only imagine, like, the sting of being a Giants fan right now, the way this offseason has gone, and everything that you thought you might have had that now you don't have, as all you got to do is compete with the Padres and the Dodgers in the NL West. You know, that's it. No problem whatsoever. So significant news, but does not, of course, impact us, and he's not coming to the – you all right over there? Yeah.
It's gross.
It's turned. It's turned.
It's gross.
Griffin's emotions at the beginning. When you turn this into a video, it's going to be interesting seeing how he goes from, like, this is good.
And it's just like the
right?
facial
Like,
expression.
I can do this, to all of a sudden being like, no.
Yeah, and the
no.
posture, the facial expression.
Please stop.
Going from this
please, no more.
to
No.
more of something like this.
They're Roberto Duran here. No mas. No,
Yeah, no
mas. No mas is the way that Griffin is feeling at the moment. I can't blame you. I would not have been able. This would have been, again, and a pint, I'm still convinced, isn't even all that much.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It's not all that much.
It's about a glass that was a little bit taller.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still, it's
correct.
It's not.
Are those your own personal pint glasses that you brought?
These
in?
are mine.
Those are
Griffin's
Griffin's
yes.
pint glasses.
Got
I keep forgetting Carson's not 21, so he wouldn't have.
Got the Eastern
pint
Shore
glasses.
Brewery glass.
I do have
Yeah.
one pint glass, but I
Maryland
use it to
Zoo.
drink water.
I have to admit, I had a significant phase of stealing pint glasses.
I have one.
This is not something I should admit.
It's from a restaurant.
I went through, like, that no matter where I was going to be taking a pint glass home with me that night.
Some places have really nice glasses.
What are you doing? You're asking for. No, I don't. That's not fair. I should probably try to. I'm trying to think of establishments that I might have to go back and, you know, say, hey man, I'm sorry. I owe you $10. Here's your $10 for your pint glass that I took with me a few years back. Today is a special day for us, as today was the day that we took down all of the items that were donated by you guys. The money that you donated, we used to purchase items to the Helping Up mission. I had to go down early. I wasn't able to stick around for the event, but Drew Forrester from drewsmorningdish.com is with us now from Helping Up. Drew, what's going on, pal? How are you?
Hey, it's my shot, guys. So just wait a second. What'd you make on that hole? 5?
Yeah. He bailed.
Okay.
He bailed on Helping Up today to go play golf. That's the way that it went. All right. Paint the picture. Try to paint the picture for me of what. I know you shared a couple of pictures, but would you please take some video or stuff like that while you're down there? Could you do that since I'm not there today?
Sure. Well, it's been incredibly well organized, I will say, by my friends from Free State Electrical, Annette and Tim Miller. They took over the organization of it on site. I'm like, that's perfect. You don't want me organizing anything. So,
yeah, and this is a little bit different than like some. Of course, we didn't know what we were getting into when we didn't do coats this year, because coats are easy. You just go put them all out there, say take what you want. This year is a little bit different because we got like deodorant and we got Drew and I, by the way, learned on Monday. Did you know that body wash and body lotion are two different things? That's a thing.
They are completely. We discovered that.
We're supposed to get body lotion. Well, we got body wash. We're good, right? And then Drew all of a sudden looks the other way. He's like, no, there's body lotion over here too. I'm like, what the hell is that?
So no, it's all laid out on tables, and it's very nicely done, and it's all new and fresh, and the place smells great, and guys are coming in and taking a bag and basically walking through and just picking out, what they want, whether or not it's underwear, T-shirts, toothpaste, deodorant, anything they want.
That's awesome.
One guy came in and he's like, "Yeah, you guys got any new offensive coordinators in here?"
That's weird.
I'm like, "We don't, but if you hang, we don't. But if you hang around a couple of weeks, we might
have one at that point." That's really interesting.
But it's awesome, and you've been down here to see this so many times. Like, these guys come in, some of them, this is it for them.
Yep.
One guy just said a few minutes ago, like, it feels good to know somebody cares about me again. Like, these are so many little things that happen when you're standing in that room, and guys walk in, and I just had a guy say something to me about Calvert Hall. Like, guys come in, and I always say this, it's amazing, right? Like, a lot of guys don't look like you and I.
Yep.
But there are guys But there are guys in here who look just like you and I, and you there by the grace of God go I. You're like, what happened?
Yep.
You don't say that to them, but like, they look just like you and I. We could have walked in off the street, and they're all here for the same basic reason. This was kind of turned out to be their last stop, and for the most part, most of their families have kind of given up on them. But as the guys would tell you here, they gave up on them because I burned every bridge times 3.
Yep, 100%.
Very rarely do you find anybody in here who's singing the blues and who's like, this isn't my fault. Everybody in here is incredibly honest and genuine, and they all are willing to admit, like, I did this to myself. And I want to get better. I want to get better, and I want to figure out how to get back on my feet.
To that point, obviously, the accountability part of it is such a huge part of what they do at Helping Up, right? Like, it's part of the program, obviously. Like, you have to be able to take accountability for your actions. Now, you accept addiction, of course, as a disease. And to your point, when you say there, for the grace of God, go I, like, addiction can hit anyone. Like, there is no, socioeconomic or race or gender, or addiction is a disease, the same way so many other things are diseases. But it's not just addiction, obviously, that we're talking about. We're talking about plenty of other things, and poor decisions that are made, and just a lot of things, trauma that can lead you to being at a place where you say, I need help, and it's time for me to try to pick my life up. And that's where these guys and women now as well at the women's shelter end up at Helping Up mission, and it's why it's been so important for us to be a part of it. Drew and I also had a moment, of course, on Monday when we were spending $3,400 at Target, which is an adventure that took us 2 hours to try to complete this process, and there are great stories.
Right.
But maybe the best moment was the part where we got through purchasing all the toiletries we needed to purchase, and then we said it's time to walk to the underwear section, and we just sort of had the two of us walking towards the women's underwear department, like, just two guys going to buy.
It was a Beavis and Butthead scene that was never done in Beavis and Butthead for sure.
This two dudes.
Hey, we're in the women's underwear section.
Well, you have to address the awkwardness of it. I think anybody, like, if you just pretend like it's normal, then you start asking questions. Like, if you just walk back and you were like, oh yeah, I'm just walking back to the women's underwear department, no big deal. Then you start wondering, like, dude, you been in the women's underwear department at Target before? Right? Like, that's
no doubt.
So
we announced ourselves. We were, we were like, we're in here looking for women's underwear, but it's not for us.
Correct. We're not.
We swear.
It's not weird. It's not weird at all.
We swear.
No, an amazing thing. And again, every year there's always something new, some new element to it. One year it was the pandemic. Are we gonna be able to do anything during the pandemic? This year it was, the folks at Helping Up saying, we are so grateful for everything you've done. The reality is we still haven't given everything away from last year. We can't take on more coats and more winter gear right now. Could you do something different? I remember making the phone call to you, Drew, like, hey, they want to do toiletries and underwear this year, and Drew being like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked out perfect. Like, every guy that comes in, it's one size fits all. So if a guy comes in off the street tomorrow and all they have are large jackets and he's a double X, it doesn't help him. But when he comes in tonight and they give him this care package of soaps and underwear and deodorants and razors and toothbrushes, one size fits all for those things.
Yep.
And it's easier. It's just much easier to maintain. As I see the guys go through, they come through much more. There's not that. There used to be a little bit of a free-for-all in there, right? Because, you would root through the piles and you would try to get in there first. What can I get? Now, as they walk in, we're just announcing. Every bag is the same. You guys can go pick out T-shirts and underwear as you walk by. It's all out in the sizes. There isn't that mad rush that there was before.
Yep, no question. That's
So-
great. That's great. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's.
And you
organized.
did a great job as always. You're the Reggie Jackson of the group.
Well,
you're
it's fair.
you're the arrogant.
Stop.
You're
that.
the
Yeah, correct. I'm the a-hole. Is what you're saying. I'm the guy.
You're
I'm the guy that didn't want to come to Baltimore. That's what you're.
That's right.
saying.
You're the.
Yeah.
No, you've done a great job with this. 14 years.
14 years.
Chris Shard just came downstairs and he said, I went back up and looked. The first pictures we have are from 2008.
It's unbelievable, and it all
14
started.
years.
All started one day. One day when Drew just sort of walked in and said, "We cause a lot of problems. I think it's time for us to do something good." And I said, "All right. I mean, you make a point. We do cause a lot of problems. We're good at that."
Right.
And he said, "I think we should
get in the back of a truck.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of coats and drive around. And every time we see a person living on the street, we should throw the coat to them."
Yep. And I said,
"That's what I think we should do."
I said, "Look, man, I like the idea. I just think we can do it better."
Right.
And
I said, "I don't know, man. This seems like a real grassroots way to do it."
Really organized idea of just hopping in a truck and driving around and throwing coats at people. You need a coat? Here's a coat.
And to your credit, you did talk. I'm a good listener, and you talked me into it.
And our friend Tony Young, of course, obviously pointed us in the direction of Helping Up mission, and it's become a serious part, of my life. I'm there regularly, and it is an amazing. If you all don't know about what they're doing at Helping Up mission, I greatly encourage you to go to helpingup.org today. And if you hear us talking about it and you don't know, if you're moved to send them some money, that's great. If you still want to make a donation, again, I'll be back down there the first weekend of January. So if you still want to make a donation, for example, I got a cousin who raised $500, and then they're going to go out and buy stuff on top to give, and so we'll take that down there in January. So,
And if you ever thought that grown men couldn't actually clean and keep a place spotless, you should come down here.
They take care of everything themselves.
You can eat off the floors.
Yep, it's a sense of pride. You want to play Would You Rather Wednesday really quickly?
Sure.
All right, would you rather?
Just a shameless plug, by the way. Friday, 3 to 6, I'll be on 105.7 The Fan. They've given me the keys to the place. I don't know why. I have an incredibly special guest joining me.
Wow. Now, wait a second. He's going to appear on that radio station?
Oh, yeah. And incredibly. And in fact, I will say the guest I have will hearken folks back to the old days of that radio station.
Oh, my. All right.
So I'm just going to leave it at that. But,
I don't think
I'm looking forward to it.
Reed and I are doing 6 to 9 a.m. I think we're going to do the bit where we don't bother to book any. Remember you did morning for a long time. The difficulty of trying to figure out who might possibly be awake at that time of day and be up for
it's
it.
Impossible.
And especially, I think we're going to pass. I think we're just going to do the show ourselves.
Well, I've written my opening thing already.
Right.
Ravens fans, let's talk about this new Greg Roman contract.
Right.
Give me a call, 410-583-1057. Your thoughts on the new 3-year deal for Greg Roman.
I think he deserves it. I think that this was well earned by Greg. And then
That's how I'm going to start the show on Friday.
And 3 hours later, you say, "Wow, it's."
Did you guys hear about the trade? Let's hear about the trade.
Yeah, do that.
Let's hear about Greg Roman's new contract.
It's so interesting you bring that up, Drew. It's so interesting because Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill, where Drew and I were on Monday night. What did you enjoy at Glory Days Grill on Monday night?
Oh, those Honey Old Bay wings.
My God, the Honey Old Bay wings. And our friend Liz, who had never had a Honey Old Bay wing before. And
we got her. We turned her on to Honey Old Bay. She's never been the same.
No question about it. Honey Old Bay wings, big win. Of course, I enjoyed smoky thigh wings when I was there because they are perfection. They also have the Comfort Classic menu available right now, including the Twisted Ribs and Wings combo, as well as the bourbon butter cake for dessert, where Griffin is still sad that last Friday when we were there, I went ahead and got the check before he could order his bourbon butter cake because...
Oh, my God, it's so good.
GloryDaysGrill.com is the website for you to get your order in. Interesting you bring it up, Drew. Number one, would you rather, when the Ravens season ends, the next day they announce a contract extension for Lamar Jackson and a contract extension for Greg Roman, or they announce Greg Roman is fired and Lamar Jackson has been traded?
I mean, I'm not answering that.
Come on, dog.
There's no way I'm answering that question.
Come on.
That's the dumbest.
Come on.
Man. I mean, I would say that anything that gets Lamar signed, I'm good with.
All right. Number two.
Yeah.
Would you rather? These
that's
are
a dumb question.
yeah. You're going to steal it for Friday, aren't you? Number two. Would you rather live So these are two legitimate names. These are two football players that are signing today on National Signing Today. Would you rather live your life, the entirety of your life, with the name Dude Person, or with the name Rowdy Beers?
Dude Person?
Dude Person or Rowdy Beers?
You got to say dude.
I've been struggling with this because I feel like for a part of your life you would want to be Rowdy Beers. I feel like for the ages of 16, of course, my kids won't be doing that. They'll be waiting until 21 like Carson Weekly. But for me, the ages of about 16 to 26, you desperately want to be Rowdy Beers because you'd be a party wherever you went. Like, you'd walk in, they'd be like, Rowdy Beers is here. But then you're going to hit 36, and you're not going to be able to handle it any longer. Like, you're going to walk in somewhere, they'd be like, dude, Rowdy Beer. And you're going to be like, no, dude, I'm not. I don't want to be Rowdy Beers anymore.
I'll go with Dude Person.
I'd rather be Greg. And that's why I actually,
What's
for
up,
the
dude?
entirety of life, agree that Dude Person might be the way to go. And then number three, would you rather bet a year's salary on the Detroit Lions reaching the NFC Championship game, or at the same odds, a year's salary on the Ravens winning one playoff game against anyone other than the Titans?
Definitely the Ravens.
Why?
Because I don't know that the Lions are even going to get there.
I promise you they're going to get there.
And if they get there, they've got to navigate their way through 3 games. The Ravens only have to beat one team.
You don't have to win 2 to make the NFC Championship game.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't,
anyway,
3 to 6 on 105.7 The Fan.
I like the hometown team, so I'll take the Ravens.
All right. 3 to 6 p.m. this Friday, you will hear him on 105.7 The Fan. Of course, Drew's Morning Dish.
Talking Greg Roman, baby.
That's right. Drew'sMorningDish.com, as always. Great work. Please tell Tim and Lynette I said thank you. Really appreciate what they have added to what we do. It's been a life-changing. And give everybody my love there at Helping Up Mission. Appreciate you.
You got it. I'll see you at the end of the bar, as they say.
That's right. See you there. Merry Christmas, bud.
You too. Bye-bye.
It's Drew Forrester, Drew'sMorningDish.com, joining us here on GCR. All right. Would you rather? Number one. Would you rather?
I got to let me finish this.
Oh, you're gonna finish it?
I mean,
that's
I don't know.
That's quite the gulp for you to finish. Yeah. He gave up on that. Make sure that's included in the TikTok as well.
Okay, I will.
It's like, oh, I got this. All of a sudden, it gets.
Well,
this is
more than I.
You know what I've realized? This is exactly the opposite of the Frank the Tank situation. Once it hits your lips, it tastes so bad.
It is the opposite.
It tastes so. Did you watch Tommy Boy?
Oh, I'm gonna watch it
tonight. Okay.
Tonight.
Christmas Miracle.
Yes.
You're gonna watch Tommy Boy.
Miracle.
Christmas Miracle.
What was the first one?
Would you rather you get Lamar and Roman, or no Lamar and no Roman?
I think I'm with Drew. You know, if whatever gets Lamar signed, I think that's the correct answer. Although, I mean, you know, it'd be interesting to see what a trade compensation would be for Lamar Jackson. to get Roman out of here. But I think, I mean, you got to assume they address wide receiver too, and then Roman would still have something to work with, I guess. I don't know. Sign Lamar.
All right, Carson.
I'm gonna shake things up a little bit here.
No, you're not. Most everybody is going the other way.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Which saying,
is so depressing.
Let's look and let's see, because obviously it depends on who he's getting traded to, but let's say the Lions want to offer you their first round pick this year, and then we throw in somebody and they throw in Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then all of a sudden we can take
Why
a
would
shot.
they do that?
I don't.
Why in the world would you trade
in.
for a quarterback to get rid of your top wide receiver?
Well, I'm just saying.
How does that make sense?
I'm going
How
with
does
the
that,
second option.
This is the end of the bar stuff. Like this
the first
is
round
the
pick. But the first round pick.
This is just saying anything for the sake of saying anything.
If one of these top picks is included, though, I think I would.
A team is trading for a quarterback because they're intending to win.
To throw to their best wide receiver.
Yes.
They got Jameson Williams still.
I understand that. Most teams, unlike the one in Baltimore, try not to build a roster predicated on one unproven wide receiver working out.
I say sign Roman and Lamar, go get Equinemius St. Brown at a more affordable
I'm sure
price.
that's going to be the move that's going to put the Ravens over the top.
Don't they have another brother? There's probably another. Their dad is pretty ripped too. I think.
If you say so. I'm not going to pin my hopes on Equinemius St. Brown. That will not be the way that I go about it.
You need a St. Brown in the facility.
This to me, I can't believe.
I'm taking number 2.
The answer is you don't. I've said this a billion times. I don't care. At the end of the day, you either have a quarterback or you're hopeless. And so there are two things that I'm infuriated with Greg Roman today, but it keeps going back to what I keep saying. You guys are trying to ignore and pretend like the offense hasn't been extraordinary. The greatest offense, what Jonas Schaefer said the other day, and I had to edit your tweet because people are getting worked up, and you left out the context of at least in the regular season, which he did say, and I don't want to be unfair to Jonas because people are going to start coming at him when he did say at least in the regular season. So, but Jonas's point is it's undeniable. There's no debate when the greatest offense in Ravens history, outside of 1996 when they just put up absurd numbers because they were getting their ass kicked in every game, this is the greatest stretch of offense that you've ever seen in the history of the Ravens. Now, not the last 5 weeks. I understand that. I get it. But other than that, it's the greatest stretch of offense that you've seen in Ravens history. And so if that's what it takes, I'm not confident you're going to win a Super Bowl, but I mean, I can't believe the idiocy of saying, well, just try something else. And sure, it's been good, but I don't know, maybe it could also be good. I'll just never understand the thought process of a quality standard being ripped up for the sake of, well, maybe you could do something else. I'm grateful that you guys don't run businesses.
I think the injury also played a part in my decision.
What, the injury to Lamar?
They're the injuries now.
So you just want to get rid of him?
I don't think I want to get rid of him, but I think at this point, durability is a slight concern.
Bro. I mean, every quarterback has gotten hurt. I don't know what to tell you. Every quarterback has gotten hurt.
That's true.
I mean,
you're getting hit a lot compared to other positions, but
overwhelmingly, responses are going the other way. Number 2. Would you rather? It is Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Rowdy Beers or Dude Person. I'm trying to remember where these guys committed to because they both committed yesterday.
I think Rowdy Beers committed to Florida International.
FIU, yes, correct, is where Rowdy
I'm going
Beers
Rowdy Beers.
is headed.
That's
Hang
the
on.
name. That is the name.
Dude Person is going to... Where is Dude Person? He's going to Central Arkansas is where Dude Person is headed. So you're saying Rowdy Beers?
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
This is the problem.
Cool.
I think this is an age thing. This goes back to the conversation we had last week. It's exactly what I just said to
Eggnog
Drew.
finished.
Yes. There you go. Mazel tov. And you finished yours?
I did.
All right. Well done. All right. I think you should have to lick the glass, honestly.
No, that's okay.
So
start tasting like medicine at the end.
It's like Dimetap almost. Yeah. Right. Like it's gross. It's just awful. John from Little Rock is a psychopath.
Yes.
Love you. I love you. You know that. I love you. But he likes mayonnaise. He likes eggnog. I got a lot of questions about John Little. The problem, too, is he has great taste in just about everything else.
That's our next bet. Mayonnaise, eggnog shake.
Oh, God.
That's one I don't think I don't think I could do that.
Why did you have to put that out there?
In a blender.
Because it'd be a good bet.
Oh, God. just thinking about it.
Rowdy Beers would do it.
Yeah, Rowdy Beers might do it. Here's the problem. You are so short-sighted about this that all you're thinking about is how dope it would be to walk into the bar tonight like, yo, what's up, guys? Rowdy Beers is here. That's all you're thinking about, right? Everybody high-fiving you.
Forever.
Like, dude, is your name really Rowdy Beers? No, not forever.
Yes.
At some point, you're going to enter in a phase of life where you're not going to want that. And when people are still treating you that way, like, yo, Rowdy Beers, and you're like, right.
This was his birth name. His birth name was Rowdy. I guess his last name is Beers. Rowdy. I guess Rowdy can be a name.
I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't know all of the details.
You just know that he exists.
About Mama Beers' baby boy. I'm not sure about all of the details. You?
As cool as Rowdy Beers would be for a little bit,
Carson.
I think for the rest of my life, everyone can just for everyone being what's up, dude? Hey, dude. I kind of like that. Drew mentioned that. I kind of like that.
I think I'm
a
kind of
dude
enjoy
person.
that. And I'm telling you,
I'll be dude person.
Griffin, there's going to be a day where you're going to be 40 years old. You're going to show back up the night before Thanksgiving. All of your friends from high school are going to be there that have accomplished nothing. You will have at that point been, I don't know, the play-by-play voice of the National Dodgeball, World Tour or whatever. You'll be coming back home to say hello to everybody, and they're going to be like, "Yo, Rowdy!" And you're just going to be like,
I'd be like, "That's right,
guys." I kind of would just be like to be quiet beers. I kind of like to be,
peaceful beers.
Yes, peaceful. Silent night, holy night.
Rowdy beers,
serene beers.
No,
one level.
No, you can't live like that forever. You can't.
It's not like I'm going out every night.
Bro, your name is Rowdy Beers.
Out,
the expectation is going to be that you're going to be Rowdy Beers.
As long as I just go out, enough.
Yeah, and you'll have to deal with
assume that you're out almost every night.
Nah, man, I'm staying in the night. Rowdy Beers doesn't stay in the house
exactly
on
right.
Friday.
I thought you were Rowdy Beers, man. What happened to that? You'd be like, dude, I got kids now. I kind of don't think that that's the way that I want to go. Me and Mrs. D'Amelio have settled down to a nice life. I just kind of don't want to be Rowdy Beers anymore. You're going to think about whether or not it's time to legally change your name.
I'm more strong-willed than you guys. I could handle it.
No, you're not. Yeah. You're definitely not that. You have no idea what you are. You're 23.
Dude person 22. Has a lot of... Dude person can totally slip under the radar.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's cool, but then it's over after a second. Like, it's cool for a second.
Yeah.
And it would have sucked when Dude Where's My Car came out. Like, you would have dealt with a lot of nonsense then. But now you guys have no idea what Dude Where's My Car even is. Yeah. So, at this point, you could be Dude person. Essentially. For a moment, it's neat. And then you go through that, is that really your name? Like, and then it's just over. Then you're just another person.
You're just a dude.
No pun.
People would never forget about me. You're Rowdy Beers.
Jesus Christ.
Rowdy
Number
Beers?
3, would you rather? Would you rather the Detroit Lions, you got to bet a year's salary, or pretend like you make real money? God, I just realized I'm talking who I'm talking to. Pretend like, let's say $50,000.
Okay.
You could either have it. Well, you can't have it because you got to bet it on one of these.
These are the same odds.
Yes, same odds on the Ravens winning one playoff game against anyone but the Titans, or the Lions reaching the NFC Championship game. And by the way, I've had a couple people bring up the Lions. The Lions aren't even guaranteed to get into the playoffs. We're going to end this weekend with the Lions holding a playoff position. The Commanders play the 49ers this weekend. At the end of the weekend, the Lions play the Panthers.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the weekend, the Lions will be holding a playoff position. Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
Make sure you get that.
Yeah, I'll go the Ravens.
We're just going to have a little compilation of moments from the Eggnog.
That's exactly the idea.
I'll go the Ravens. I mean, I think assuming Lamar Jackson is healthy, they can still
But that's part of the, like,
win.
You've got to factor all
games.
this in right now. Like, do you know that Lamar Jackson is going to be healthy? You got to factor all of these things in because you don't get to wait and decide later. You have to make this bet immediately.
Do the Lions lose another regular season game?
I don't know. I didn't look at past this week. All I know is the Panthers this week. They're 7-7, but they're 6-1 in their last 7 games.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to stay? I mean, they'd have to get past who are they? I guess so. They'd be the 7 seeds. They play.
I don't know that they can't get past. The
Minnesota
Giants have stunk
something.
too lately. Right now they'd be in line to play Minnesota if they get in, but they could also get past the Giants. Like the idea.
I don't think they can win a playoff. I don't think they can win a playoff game.
The Lions?
Yeah.
Wow, that's bold.
The
hottest team in football can't win a playoff game?
I mean, they'll play the Vikings. I don't think.
Do you remember what happened the last time?
Vikings win games. That's what they do.
Do they in the playoffs?
They'll probably win that one. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with the Ravens. They have Lamar Jackson.
If they have Lamar Jackson,
I'll take Lamar Jackson in that defense.
It was like when you
Sammy
said
Watkins
that's
and
like when
Deshaun
you were,
Jackson
that's like
stretching
when
the
you got us
field.
into that terrible bet with the folks in Pittsburgh because you were like, "What do they have? Lamar Jackson? We're good." And then all of a sudden they didn't have Lamar Jackson. This is really all on you.
And they still won.
They did still win. That's true.
So.
That's true. Yes.
I'm gonna take the Ravens. Just one. It's one game, and
But again,
I mean,
specifically not against Titans. So keep in mind, if that means they play the
Might-
Titans,
if that
if
means
they're
play the
if they're the 5 seed and they played the Titans in round 1,
they got to beat them
that-
and then play somebody
and
else.
beat them too.
Yeah,
Like you're not. You got to think through all the layers of this.
Yeah, but I trust.
If they don't play the Titans,
I trust
what
the
are the
Ravens.
options, right? Like let's say they beat the Bengals week 17 or week 18. Now they're playing
They're hosting
the Bengals. Maybe. Yeah, they had to beat the Bengals twice.
I can see them
possibly.
beating Buffalo, like in the second round after they beat
I
Tennessee.
still don't want to.
If you can, good for you.
I still don't want to give Jared Goff the ball and be like, all right, man, go get me to the
All right.
go get me to the NFC
All right.
Championship.
This one, in
my
fairness,
salary's on the
yeah,
line.
this has been more split. I will give you that. This has been more split. Continue to get me your responses at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter for Would You Rather Wednesday, brought to you by Glory Days Grill. One more Tyus Bowser show to wrap up the season. Tuesday, January 3rd, we will be at Guilford Hall Brewery, 1611 Guilford Avenue in Station North. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
2.
Is there any chance that
Is there any
chance it's going to come up?
No, I don't think so.
You seem to
It'll
be in
stay
pain.
down.
It doesn't sound. That's not a throw up burp though.
No, you're right. That's just a gassy burp is all that is. We will be there at Guilford Hall Brewery. Looking forward to it. Tyus Bowser Show's partnership with PressBox and Grade 8's memorabilia. It is brought to you by Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Come back in. Tidbit Tuba to wrap up for the day. Glenn Clark Radio. Yes. I'm sure it is. I'm certain.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Experience the best in Kamado Grilling, a complete outdoor cooking appliance. The Ginsu Kamado Grill allows anyone to sear, grill, bake, and smoke all types of food. Designed for efficiency and function, the Ginsu Kamado Grill upholds the enduring legacy of the iconic Ginsu brand. The Ginsu Kamado Grill is perfect to cook all year round, is great for parties, and ideal for tailgating with your friends. Reserve your Ginsu Kamado Grill today at ginsugrills.com and get $100 off on your pre-order when you use the promo code TAILGATE. That's ginsugrills.com. Reserve yours today.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Join the Maryland Jockey Club at Laurel Park for Christmastide Stakes Day on Monday, December 26th. An exciting day of live horse racing awaits you with a whopping 6 stakes races worth $600,000 in prize money. Plus, enjoy a specially curated stakes buffet, a delicious hot chocolate bar, and hot cider cocktails. It may be cold, but Laurel Park has plenty of horse racing excitement, food, and beverages to keep you warm. Don't miss Christmastide Stakes Day at Laurel Park. Visit laurelpark.com for more info.
Another Orioles season is in the books, and the Bat-Around was there every step of the way as the Birds posted their first winning season in 6 years. And after promoting 2 #1 overall prospects in Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson, Mike Elias has said it's liftoff from here. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, and along with my co-host Zach Goodman, we'll be here every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon all off season, discussing every signing, trade, and waiver claim as we navigate the cold winter months that lead to spring training. You can watch us at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline and Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, or listen live at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. And if you miss a show, you can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So tune into the Bat-Around with Paul Valley and Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here at PressBox Sports.
Need a last-minute gift for a kid in your life? How about a membership to the Retriever Kids Club? It includes free youth admission to all regular season UMBC home games, plus a t-shirt and a drawstring backpack. Membership is only $35. It's a great deal, makes a tremendous holiday gift. Visit umbcretrievers.com/kids club for more info. Membership is for kids 12 and under. The Retriever Kids Club. Find out more, umbcretrievers.com/kids club.
If you can't listen or watch live, you can subscribe to the show via Spotify, Amazon, or Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review while you're there. Or, if lying isn't your thing, we'll take a 3.5-star review too.
All right, back in here on GCR as we wind down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Make sure you get your responses in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Again, I'm warning you, these offers aren't going to last forever. So take advantage of them now, like $200 in risk-free or in free bets from DraftKings after you place your first $5 bet, or $1,000 in risk-free bets from BetMGM. Time is limited. Go to PressBoxOnline.com/offers and sign up today. Tidbit is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
So someone from Spot Track, they put together the total amount that the Mets will be paying this season, which will be, they're giving $502 million in terms of contracts for this upcoming season, and then they put together the accumulated payroll for these 6 teams, which totals $529 million between 6 other teams. That includes the Orioles, the Athletics, the Pirates, the Reds, the Royals, and the Marlins.
Yeah, I mean,
combined $529.
Yeah, I mean that's about right. I don't know what to say.
This one I wanted to do last week, and so it has to do with Christian McCaffrey. They were talking about it going into Thursday night, how he has the second most games with both 50 rushing yards and 50 receiving yards.
50 and 50.
Yes, 50 games, and he has 26. He did not get to 27 on Thursday night, but he obviously has the chance to do that as he is at 26, the second most all-time, most games. He still trails number 1 by a wide margin, but he is second most, which he just achieved recently this season. So I want to see if you can name the top 10 they're all running backs.
Imagine having a wide receiver who ran for 50 yards that many times.
They are all running backs, so can you name the top 10 with 50-50 games?
Well, I'm assuming that Marshall Faulk is number 1.
He is number 1, 41 for Marshall Faulk.
That one was pretty obvious.
McCaffrey 26 at 2.
After that,
it's very congested.
Yeah, because that's the only other guy that really stands out as this type of player. So, okay, let's try Barry Sanders.
It is not Barry Sanders.
Let's try Walter Payton.
It is not Walter Payton.
Let's try...
Walter Payton had 17 . He is just outside the top 10.
I mean, they talk about him like he's one of the greats.
All of these guys have 20 or more.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson, he is tied for 3rd with 23.
How about Marcus Allen?
Not Marcus Allen. Not Marcus Allen.
How about Le'Veon Bell?
Le'Veon Bell, excellent guess. He is 5th. He has 21.
He's 5th.
Tied for 21. Tied for 5th, yeah. 21 games.
I would have assumed he was on the list, but I would not have thought he was that high. That makes me think, this could be just about anybody. Okay. This is disturbing now, actually, because Le'Veon Bell did not have the longevity of a Priest Holmes.
Priest Holmes is an excellent guess, and he is on the list. He has 20, tied for 8th, which is what rounds out the top 10. The last 3 guys are tied.
Maurice Jones-Drew.
Not MJD.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, another good guess, but he is out on the outside. 16 games for Ray Rice.
How about we're guessing the players with the most 50 rushing and 50 receiving yard games of all time, Carson. In the games in which they had both 50 rushing and 50 receiving yards.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but that's why we. Okay. So we got Falk, McCaffrey, Tomlinson, Le'Veon Bell, and Priest Holmes. Okay. And by we, I mean, of course, me.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say by that. Tony Dorsett.
Not Tony Dorsett.
Eric Dickerson.
Not Eric.
Emmett Smith.
Not Emmett Smith.
Edgerrin James.
Not Edgerrin James. He has 16 as well. Outside the top 10.
Ricky Waters.
Running Waters. He is on the list. 21 games, and he is tied for 5th with Le'Veon.
But Eddie George.
Not Eddie George.
Chris Johnson.
Not Chris Johnson.
Fred Taylor.
Not Fred Taylor.
Thurman Thomas.
There you go. Thurman Thomas, also 21. So you have the top 7 guys except for one. You're missing one in the top 7, and then you have 2 more that are tied for 8th with Priest Holmes.
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara's on the outside.
That's a great God, I don't know why I didn't guess
16
that
as
earlier.
well for Alvin Kamara. He's on the outside.
kinda surprised.
It's a better
There's not
answer
more.
than my answers, so, it is a dumb list. Matt Forte.
Matt Forte also just outside. He is 18. He is 11th.
How about Curtis Martin?
Not Curtis Martin.
How about Arian Foster?
Not Arian Foster.
How about Tiki Barber?
Tiki Barber is the
Yeah.
one. He is top 4, 23 games, tied with LT for Tiki Barber.
Clinton Portis.
Not Clinton Portis.
All right, give me something.
Okay. All right.
It's 12-19.
One of them is a Raider from the 60s. Won an AFL championship.
Sure he is. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us?
That one is Clem Daniels.
Could have been here all day.
Clem Daniels. And then the last one, it was a Ram.
Singer of the... Didn't he do that song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
Steven Jackson?
It is Steven
Oh,
Jackson.
Steven Jackson, all right.
It is Steven Jackson.
I don't remember him being that much of a pass-catching threat.
I don't
That's the funny
either.
part.
Played for a while. I guess
How
that's
about
just
that? The longevity part of it.
Yeah.
I get it. All right, very good. That was Tidbit. Tubular is brought to you today by the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill. Go to ginsugrills.com. Use the code TAILGATE. Save $100 when you order your Ginsu Kamado Grill. Here's what's coming up tonight. A lot of local teams in action, hoops-wise, on a Wednesday evening. Coppin State, this is technically, I believe if you have DirecTV, they're playing today. But apparently the game was delayed because the refs didn't get there in time, which is just
cool.
Cool. I don't even have the words. I don't have the words. Right now on Next Level Sports, Coppin leading James Madison 26-23 late in the first half. Navy and VCU tonight at 7 o'clock on Masson. The Maryland women playing IPFW right now on ESPN+. Mount St. Mary's takes on Howard this afternoon at 2 o'clock. ESPN tonight, Michigan and North Carolina and Charlotte. That's a good one, 7 o'clock for that. They also have the New Orleans Bowl, Kentucky and South Alabama at 9. You want to give a bad...
over. Give me the over.
You're taking the over in that one?
Yeah.
Again, probably not want to listen to Griffin, as he and I are currently tied for dead last. And I wish that was a joke.
Our bowl bets.
We
My
are
bowl bets
tied for dead last.
The
in
one
bowl
I did
pick-em.
give away to live. That one hit.
Yeah, we're both 5-7 in our bowl picks. First place right now, a group of folks tied at 9-3. Griffin and I are 5-7.
I went back and looked at my picks over the weekend, and I don't know why I picked half. The
I
games.
don't. I'm pretty sure
like,
I didn't.
why
Even,
did I?
I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure I just clicked. I didn't even think about anything about it. I just clicked somebody. So don't take any advice from us, is what I'm trying to tell you. Anything else tonight that matters? Not really. Yeah, it's kind of a night otherwise. NBA TV Warriors Nets at 7:30. Of course, the Warriors stink now.
Yep.
Warriors Nets 7:30, and then Hornets Clippers at 10:30. TNT Devils Panthers at 7. Oilers Stars. The Devil. That's the Devil that Clem Daniels was singing about. The Devil went down to play the Panthers. Was the song that he sang. You guys don't know. It's fine. Oilers Stars 9:30 on TNT. This is my lot in life now. This is what I deal with. TBS AEW Dynamite at 8. Some non-sports highlights.
Let's see. Holiday Spectacular finale is tonight on Fox. They're doing Hard Knocks
putting
in
this
season.
on the list. Like
Hard Knocks in season with the Cardinals. Dolly Parton's Mountain Magic Christmas is re-airing on NBC. Emily in Paris season 3 is on Netflix. That's the one with Aubrey Plaza, I believe.
Ah, yes.
And then on Prime it will be Jack Ryan season 3 with John Krasinski.
Ah, I didn't know that was okay.
That is today. And then new episode National Treasure, The Edge of History, the series on Disney Plus. New episode of that. And they're doing a Homeward Bound. It's a Grammy salute to the songs of Paul Simon. That is on CBS.
I'm a Simon and Garfunkel fan
Sure.
myself. I actually enjoyed the last couple of Paul Simon records. But
Brad Paisley will be there. Garth Brooks, Dave Matthews.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's, sure.
Yeah.
That's what I've got for you. Sure. They'll do that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's it.
Great. All right. Carson is on Twitter at Carson Ware.
Yep, that's right.
Give him a follow there. Are we going to try to make a top 3 today?
I was gonna try and do it tomorrow because it'd be
no.
Well, I thought that would be more fun.
No.
All right, well then we can make one today.
Passing out tomorrow. Passing out.
How about top
on
3?
that
How about
couch.
top 3 places to sleep? in
Yeah,
here,
top
if
3
you need
places to sleep in the office. Thanks to Carson. Thanks today to Drew. Thanks also to Bo. Thanks to Mike Locksley and Diego Fagot. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow is a wonky day. We will start at 10 a.m. with Weekend at Bookies. Then at 10:30, Glenn Clark Radio with Jeremy Kahn, maybe Rita, with David DuBois joining us in the studio. Picks, revelry, drunkenness, Union Brewery, the Baltimore County Police Department checking in and breathalyzing us, Bean Boozled, the whole. Are we doing the? You gonna do the peanut butter pickle pie?
I mean, I guess so. I couldn't find like how people actually do it, so I'm thinking I'll just get some peanut butter.
I don't think it's really.
It doesn't need to be.
I think the premise is more important than the delivery.
So
you know what I mean?
okay.
Like I think the idea, the concept.
You mean just get pickles? You guys dip in peanut butter?
No. I want it to be a peanut butter pickle pie.
Okay.
But I just don't think it matters if you hit it exactly right.
All right, that's what I was thinking too.
I think there's a long runway for delivering this.
So I was just gonna scoop some peanut butter into a pie crust, chill it overnight.
I think essentially you can figure this out. I mean, try to bake it, try to make it like a pie, right? Like, don't completely half-ass it, but I don't think you're trying to hit a target.
Okay.
I think it's just something that you present as a peanut butter pickle pie, and we say, that's what that was, is all we're looking for. All right?
All right.
All right. That and Griffin's movie review of Tommy Boy.
Ooh, yeah.
All tomorrow.
Yes.
Crazy holiday revelry is what we've got for you on the program tomorrow. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore County Police Department, as well as Problem Gambling, Glory Days Grill, Royal Farms, the Costas Inn, Maryland Jockey Club, Baltimore area Chick-fil-A restaurants, Great Ace Memorabilia, the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Maryland Vascular Specialist, the all-new Ginsu Kamado Grill, UMBC Athletics, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Oh, also, I think I need to thank the police one more time, and join BaltimoreCountyPD.com. Again, is the website to find out more. They'll be in hanging out with us tomorrow. All right, have a great Wednesday night. Go Maryland women, Coppin, and Navy hoops. Duke sucks. Ohio State sucks too.